once it becomes a crime, it's going to become a crime for a non-passport holder, a non-American citizen, a landed immigrant or whatever, won't be able to carry a gun. They're going to pull back on, what do you call it, the handgun permits, the concealed firearm permits. It's going to walk back slowly because there is so many guns in the United States. There's more guns than people in the United States, right? So it's going to take something to deal with that. But the way they do that is every time they get into power, they take another chip off the tree, they take another branch down, they take another piece off of it. And I don't think it makes a difference whether it's the GOP or the Democrats. The Democrats want to do it. The GOP is going to say that they don't want to do it, and they're doing it to protect you. But I think it's moving in that direction. People don't understand what a threat what, I don't know how to say this and not sound like a dick, but the uneducated population holding the majority of the guns in the United States is an enormous threat to the rich people in the United States. Not the government, it's a threat to the rich people. When the rich people, when you see four billionaires that represent 25% of the Earth's earnings sitting behind the president on Inauguration Day, you know who's pulling the strings.
That one, yeah, that one bugged the shit out of me. It was like five billionaires that were front row center at the inauguration, and between the two of them, or between the group of them, they own like 20% of the wealth of the world.
The Lex Luthor contingent.
Yeah, it's something like 200 something billion dollars between them.
I did want to say something about the guns. I mean, in America, I honestly wonder if gun insurance wouldn't. I mean, like, we're effed here. Our brains are all messed up how we think about things, and insurance is kind of terrible, but at the same time, Americans understand insurance. So if we put insurance on guns, like if your gun is used in a crime, you're going to have to pay. You know, I wonder if that wouldn't get the message across somehow.
Well, legally, it's a landmine. It's almost impossible to wrap that around any specific person. If your gun's stolen, your gun's stolen. If your car's stolen, your car's stolen. If your cat's stolen, your cat's stolen.
Well, sure, but
if
somebody else is borrowing your car, you're still responsible.
You can argue the operator is.
I wanted to say that there have been attempts to argue for exactly what you're talking about, and those Second Amendment lobbyists get it struck the fuck down because they argue that you can't insure a right. Cars aren't a right. Cars are a privilege, but unfortunately, guns are enshrined as a right in our Constitution. So
health is also not a right then, because
they
insure the fuck out of that.
You would think, since the preamble to the Constitution says promote the general welfare, like, I kind of felt like that was built in. But
there's also two problems when it comes to suing people for theft of their firearms and for the insurance angle. One, there's usually the precedent of did somebody take what's considered the reasonable measure to protect from theft? And that's usually, did you lock your door? Did you keep it out of sight? And people can go a step further if they have to take their gun off before they go into a secure location and use like a car safe or something. That's the one issue. The other issue is there's a socioeconomic class factor as far as people being able to afford the insurance plans. Those plans would disproportionately affect lower working class gun owners.
Very good point. No,
Where
excellent,
do you
excellent
think
point.
the owners of those insurances come from? If you look at what's going on in the marketplace in the US right now, I just did a video that I'm in the process of putting together and doing up on car repair insurance. And if you've ever seen late night TV or on the internet or, you know, the commercials that come up on car repair insurance, the people who own that insurance company are the largest investors in the automotive industry. What they want you to do is not take out a warranty from Honda or Hyundai or Toyota or Ford or GM. They want you to go buy it separately because there's no government regulation on it. They can tell you, no, that's not covered. They can sell you 4 different plans, one of which they say, oh, you know, this covers everything or most things. But the one that most people buy is the one with the highest deductible that covers the least. And chances are, when your $800 transmission goes, they're going to say, well, it covers you up to $500 and there's a $500 deductible on transmissions. And you get nothing out of it, and all of your money goes into the rich elites who are backing the automotive industry. It's the same people that are running it.
Yeah.
And it's all a scam.
No, I knew.
When you look at pet
I know.
insurance, car repair insurance, all these other things that are going on in the marketplace where you can buy third-party extended warranties, they are all just funneling money into the rich elites. So gun insurance isn't going to help at all.
No, and you know, I'm not shocked. I'm not even. I knew all that at a certain level. I mean, like at more than a certain level. I know that's not the answer. At the same time, I feel like there are a lot of people who do not necessarily take as good precautions to keep their guns safe as is appropriate. And I think that's where a lot of our young mass shooters come from.
Do you know the regulations in Canada and Australia on gun ownership? Have you looked into them at all in any way, shape, or form?
No. I am only speaking from an American perspective. I admit entirely that this is the only thing I know about.
You know that in
And
Canada,
even that, less.
in Canada, you can own a firearm. You can own a handgun. I'll use the other hand. You can you can own anything that's not a high caliber assault rifle, and you can own anything that doesn't load more than 6 bullets at a time. You have to keep them in a safe. You have to keep your ammunition in a separate ammo safe, or if you have a specifically designed safe that has a secondary safe with like a bottom compartment that also locks separately, and you can have one safe and then your ammo is actually behind the main safe door and a secondary safe door. And when your gun gets stolen in Canada, if it was in your truck or not properly secured, or in your gun case under your bed, or somewhere where it wasn't secured by a safe and it gets stolen, you lose the right to own firearms. Period.
How is that proven though? That's my how do you prove that?
It's really difficult to prove. That's why the consequences are so severe. Yeah.
But I mean, the proof is kind of in the pudding, right?
I honestly don't know how Canada laws work, but I can guarantee you that same model here would just flop.
Well, it would be impossible to implement right now.
It would have to be like in steps, gradually get to that place.
It would take 500 years to get the United States to where Canada is today. It would take several generations.
Vic, are you?
I don't know about that.
Vic, are you talking? Because I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear Vic?
I can hear Vic. Oh, wait. I thought I heard Vic, but it might have been.
Nope. No audio from.
Actually, I'm not hearing Vic at all. I'm sorry, babe.
See
I mean,
lips moving.
son. I mean,
I can't
friend.
hear Vic, but it outlines.
Yeah,
like, when
she's
people
lighting
talk.
up like she's talking, but it's not working. God, I love technology.
Did it try turning it off
Probably
and turning it back on
means
again?
that you might need to go into your settings to voice video and see if whatever headset you plugged in is what your system is reading.
And then go sacrifice a chicken and do a little dance. And
We can dance.
Yeah, and then you
Gonna
have
go
to
candle.
appease the Discord goblin. I did want to mention something amusing while we're waiting for Vic to join us. Ms. Non Sequitur, you said the proof is in the pudding, and I've always found that funny because it's actually a malaprophism, or sorry, a malaphorism. The actual idiom is the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and it's a 17th century saying that originally was talking specifically about eating a type of pudding that was like a blood sausage. So yeah, in other words,
Yes, I
the
can.
proof of the pudding is in the eating means you don't know what's in it until you fucking swallow it.
Thank you so much. I love those. It's like blood is thicker than water means the exact opposite. Imitation
always
is the
gets me.
sincerest form of flattery. The whole thing means the exact opposite. I love those, and I am so glad to have heard another one. Thank you.
Isn't the
You're
blood
welcome.
is thicker than water? Isn't it? What is it? It's like the blood of
The
battle
blood
is
of the
thicker than the
covenant
water
is
of the
thicker than
womb,
water of the
or
womb.
thicker the blood of the covenant.
There
yeah.
you go. Yeah, Vic like got it.
Yeah.
And-
I was an English teacher for 7 years, so like I literally taught idioms. Like that was idioms was one of the lessons that I did weekly. Like taught part of the vocabulary. I also taught like popular sayings and where they came from. Yeah.
Bro, I couldn't even tell you what an idiom is.
An idiom is like a common saying, like Rolling Stone gathers no moss, or
Okay, yeah. I've heard lots.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm into the, I don't know.
I know. I just muted myself because I was coughing.
yeah, you might need to wear a
I
mask.
took
Another
as many
one.
English classes as I was required to, and then stopped.
When you're
Did you?
I actually can say the same. I took as many English classes as I was required to, and then stopped because I was required to take a lot of English classes.
Fair, but I
as an English major.
but I specifically chose something that required very few.
I actually had a tendency to read my literature books all the way through at the beginning of the year, and then sleep through classes and ace every test. My teachers hated me so much.
Dude, I'm in differential equations right now, and I swear, like, my class dropped half the people in the first week. So I know it's gonna be rough.
I made like a huge freaking mistake in just, well, it was less of a mistake and mostly like just what courses were available at what times. And my senior, I ended up having, what was it, 5 lit courses in a single semester
Damn.
of my last semester of my senior year, just to get everything wrapped up. Because some of the lit courses that I needed to take were only being offered in the spring.
So you've read like everything.
I wouldn't say I've read everything, but I've read a lot more than I wish I had.
I don't know. That's kind of cool.
My favorite quote about English is the one from Rick and Morty where he says, "You're going to English to learn English? It's the language you speak. How stupid are you?"
Yeah. Well, of course, as we know, it's a little bit more than that, not just learning the language. It is a huge part of that. And honestly, we wouldn't have as many problems and grammar Nazis on the internet if people were actually learning the language they speak in school. So
Yeah. Well, and,
I
so in my high school, so many kids. My high school, like close to half of the population, uh, were native Spanish speakers, and because I'm near Houston, Texas, so just kind of is a given. But so many of them were trying to get away with like, I'll just make all of my language courses Spanish and I could just skate through because, if you're learning Spanish as a second language, you're learning it as if you're a toddler. Um, and so many people were doing that they finally brought in uh, uh, Spanish for native speakers courses. And every time someone would try and squeeze by into like a little, Spanish for babies class, they'd be like, dude, we can tell you know how to do this. Like, we know you're a native Spanish speaker, you know, take it over to the Spanish for native speakers. And they'd always complain. They'd be like, why do I need to go to that class? Like, I already know Spanish. And it's like, why do you think we still have English classes here in high school? Like, there's more you can learn, you know?
Years ago, my sisters and I went to Mexico, and we took a little bit of Spanish just so we could, get out of an emergency and get by. And on New Year's Eve, well, I say New Year's Eve, it was like 5 in the morning. We were walking down the beach in Puerto Vallarta, and we ran into some people from Quebec. And we had been drinking raicilla and tequila and Budweiser and margaritas, and I can't remember what else. I can't remember walking down the beach, but apparently, when we ran into these people from Quebec, I spoke French to them for about a half an hour. I maybe know a half an hour's worth of French total. So I have no idea what I said to these people. No recollection of what they looked like or anything. But apparently, when you're really inebriated, your languages come back to you.
It works the same way with Cajun French.
Oh, I had muted myself. To be respectful, of course. I specifically was teaching English as a second language for 5 of my 7 years. So that was quite a journey. But specifically, the school I worked at, literally 2 miles away from the U.S.-Mexico border. Definitely was thinking a little bit about if I was still in that position right now with what's going on. Man, I remember I was teaching during Trump's first term, and my students were scared. Scared. And now it's way worse.
Yeah, I was watching the Social Distancing Social Club and one of their other channels, and a couple of the people are comedians working in the United States, but they're with their spouse who's a U.S. citizen, and they are not. And there is a real serious threat to their families that one of those people is going to be disqualified from habitating in the United States. And the changes are real, and they're significant, and they don't make sense. They don't make sense for the vast majority of the population. They don't make sense for the government. They don't make sense for the systems that are in place. I mean, if you saw today, Trump was talking about dismantling FEMA as well. Right? There's some
while he was in a disaster area.
Yeah, while he was in a disaster area.
I wanted to address something that I just saw in the chat. Sapphic Hazard mentioned wondering if one of those tunnels to Mexico and San Diego is still there. I think they work both ways. And before I was a teacher, I was in the U.S. Army for 12 years with the Corps of Engineers. And from, what was it, 2000, let's see, it was 20, like maybe 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. I was actually on the border mission, and we were doing counter drug operations as well as working on repairing and improving border fencing, and also part of my job was filling those tunnels when they were discovered by Border Patrol.
You hear that yesterday 6 people who were non-resident Americans were found crossing the border into Canada, arrested.
Oh man.
Canada has the longest unprotected border on Earth between 2 countries with the United States. We are going to need a lot of grizzly bears and a lot of geese to put on.
A lot of geese. That's what I was going to say. Send
Yeah,
in the
those
geese.
Canada geese. Those raptor chickens are vicious.
Those geese are no joke, man.
Maybe some caribou to stop the cars. Yeah.
I've already got the Grizzly Adams going on, so send me the bears. Send me them bears.
So
I got them.
On the FEMA thing, I'm going to say the same thing I said earlier. It's going to take him killing FEMA, having a disaster happen, and having lots of people die before. Well, again, I keep saying that's going to make a difference. I don't know what's going to make a difference.
Oh, you know what's going to happen?
Well, you already oh, sorry.
With no FEMA, he's going to send in the National Guard. And while the National Guard's there, what do you think they're going to be doing?
Martial law.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And he already, excuse me, he already tried threatening California withholding aid unless it was conditional, specifically, because he didn't win California, so California has to pay for aid.
And it's their money.
Yeah, he's
that's the ridiculous part, because our state is, what is it? Somewhere around like the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world. If we were our own country, the United States would be fucking broke. If California seceded and took all its money with it, the rest of the United States would be destitute.
It would be damn difficult, that's for sure.
There's an old movie I saw a long time ago. And it was around California, and it was it showed the consequences of California being separated from the rest of the world entirely, and all of the and all the immigrants disappearing at the same time. So it was how.
I've seen that one. Yeah,
that was years ago. I remember seeing it, and
it was the Day Without Immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Is that the movie you're talking about?
Something like that. Yeah, and how the whole place just fell apart because. Who's doing all the menial tasks if the immigrants aren't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if you think groceries are expensive now,
yeah,
taking away the $2 an hour employees and paying people $25 to pick them, right? What do you think that's going to do to the U.S. economy for food? I mean, the stupidity, the absolute blistering ignorance of this is astounding. That somebody who could make it to that position of power could be this big a buffoon.
I mean, sure. He bought the election, or Elon bought the election.
Well,
I've heard some.
He helped. He definitely helped. He definitely helped with the misinformation and all that stuff. But I don't know that he was a deciding factor, to be honest. I think he was a contributing factor. I don't know if he was a deciding factor.
Well, you
I
have
think
to
it was a
understand
large
how-
contributing
And
factor,
I
and
can
a lot
almo-
of contributing factors add up to a deciding factor.
So I've sucked at it so far. I swore Trump wouldn't win the first time. I swore he wouldn't be able to get back in there a second time. I swore he'd lose the popular vote. I was wrong about all that shit. But I'm going to say the same thing that happened in his first term. Within the first year of his term, he had lost, or he had already fired half the people he had hired to do the jobs.
Yeah.
He's already fired 2 guys already.
Somebody
right?
said somebody said
We're not
Vivek
even
was
a
already
weekend.
somebody said Vivek was already out. Is that right?
That's what I heard today. Yeah.
I have a bingo card. I only had one scratched off so far. Is there a new one to scratch off?
That's what I heard. There's 2. They were talking on the news to, like, unfortunately, when I open up my YouTube feed, I have like the band of all of the Canadian news networks, and all of them, all 6 of them across my screen, were U.S. news about Trump and what's going on.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry, Dave.
I literally have to. I prune my Google News and just not interested. And I know I'm doing myself a disservice, but I can't stomach it. I just can't do it. I don't have the energy yet.
You know how they
Nope,
they
I
have
don't
the
either.
selections that you can choose, like, I like this ad,
Yeah.
or does this ad work for you, or whatever. I have not responded to so many ads on YouTube that it actually started sending me ads in different languages. I got them in Mandarin, I got them in French, and I got them in Spanish. And I'm like, well, good guess. I was trying to tease your kitty cat with Rocky the raccoon, the trash panda here.
Give
Here,
me a
I'll pull you
second.
up on Oh, hold
I'm
on.
gonna find the. I was gonna say I'm gonna find that image. I'll put it into the chat.
See if I can blow you up here. Here you go.
It's a Trump appointee firing bingo card. One of my
see
favorite
that, right?
things about it is it's got Marco Rubio on there 3 times. It's fucking great.
I saw that. Yeah.
So who's our artist here? Who's our most artsy
I think
fartsy
he's
person?
just too happy.
He is, isn't he?
I know what Jessie Bear. Oh my god,
Jesse's
she's
fucking
good.
awesome. Where the hell is she?
Yeah.
Well, I don't need
Oh,
artsy. I
she's
just need somebody who's got. I need to make a bingo card. We need to make a bingo card for the damn show. Every time Chris says,
Oh yeah.
anytime Chris does his criticisms. I mean,
I programmed a thing for atheist. What was the other one?
atheist bingo.
Atheist bingo and something else, but I did it in on the back end of my website in PHP over SQL.
Yeah, if you wanted, I'd love to have something like that. But I didn't want to get that fancy. I literally just want to have a PDF
There we go.
of all of them. So
Look at
There's
that.
actually somebody who has one out there now. Is it Justin? Somebody made one,
deconstruction
and
zone.
I know. No. I'll remember who it is, and I'll send you the link.
I really like Justin, the deconstruction zone dude. I really like him.
I got him. I actually have him on the other screen over here.
Yeah, because he's live tonight right now. He starts long before us, and he'll probably keep on going after us too.
Yep.
He's got like 20,000
he does
subscribers.
40 per
I
hour.
can't imagine how much money he brings in each time because he just gets nonstop super chats and.
The thing is, like, I know some people who are like 300 viewers a stream, 150 viewers a stream, and they can't even afford to buy a new computer.
Right.
So even at the level he's at, he's talking about, he wants to get to, I forget what it was, like 2,500 or something subscribers. What has he got?
He's got
20,000.
20,000. He wants to get to 25.
Yeah.
25,000 is his next goal.
Or he wants to get to 25,000 before he depends on this for
Right.
a daily regular income, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, you
there's like-
you can't be a streamer solely and maybe you can, I don't know, but you gotta augment that with going and doing talks and whatever, and he's absolutely got the stones for that, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there doing it who are doing it for basically nothing. I know, Chris is wants to be in this as his primary source of revenue, right? He doesn't want to do acting anymore. The acting he wants to do is on his own stream.
Right.
It's a long way off.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me the other day, he said, I became an overnight sensation on YouTube. It only took 7 years. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
the truth of it, right? Like that's how it goes. So
Too
Well,
many
you gotta be
men,
in it
though.
for,
Not enough women.
enjoyment.
Not enough women.
not enough women.
Yep.
There's women everywhere on the internet. Most of them are naked.
I was gonna say, yeah. What channels are you going on?
mean-
different kind of category.
Atheists, women. Like,
Oh, I see what you mean. In
Yeah,
our specific
that's why I
like secular humanist.
Yeah, there's
category.
all the good ones. Atheist,
Like-
atheist experiences
like
to have.
Gibbon.
Like
Erica Gibbon.
Yeah.
Eric, Yep.
That's
Guts a
the
Gibbon.
leading reason why I wanted to
And who's-
do my own sort of
Who's the other one?
channel.
It's another one that I like.
Are you guys able to hear me, by the way?
Yeah, we hear
Shannon.
you. No,
Shannon
no. I like Shannon Q too, but the British one.
Can anyone hear me?
We hear you. We hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I couldn't tell if anyone was responding or not.
But we're looking at the cat. We don't want to hear you. Shut up.
Oh, you're kitty.
I'm just kidding.
Did you
It's
write?
my own doing.
I asked you what his name was. Did you write back? I missed it.
I did. Yeah. His name's Marty Gras. I
Marty
call him
Gras.
Marty for short.
Nice.
Yeah. He's a little party kitty. He's got this sweet little white star on his back.
You take a little creative license and call him Marty McFlea,
I like
the time traveling cat.
Eve Was Framed. I like her.
That's a good question.
Emma Thorne.
Katie.
I don't know if he's as fly though.
Emma Thorne's voice is like, oh my god,
I could listen to her talk for hours, man. She's just so
adorable.
I love
Hey,
me some
Sapper,
Emma Thorne.
I'm glad you're back, Sapper. I want to
I
show
am
you. I want to
so
show you something.
sad she's, involved
yeah.
with a dude. Sad.
Oh, no,
sad. I love me some Emma
like-
Thorne.
I liked that video reason. I didn't
Well, she
know.
said she's
Oh my
bi.
god, I got a
learned
set of
from her that Kent Hovind's channel got banned.
A set of those for Christmas.
Yeah.
The light up ones, yeah.
Or like,
I'm such a sucker for
They're
stupid
like
shit
5
popping up
people.
on TikTok. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
ooh, I gotta have those.
Yeah, it's probably where my kids found them too, but yeah, and then also
Dude,
I couldn't let Viclet be the only one showing off beloved Aminal. This is Loki.
Nick? It is just
It's
Nick.
it's one of them. I have 10 snakes. The first one I was gonna go grab was Sunny, but I saw he's like just about getting ready to shed, so I was like, nah, I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah. How's Loki doing?
Oh, Loki's always doing fine. He's chill.
I got my own little snake right here.
And I miss Tracy. I miss
As-
Jen Peoples. Pebbles.
Peoples.
Is everyone?
Guy? Yes,
Is
sorry.
I am just that awkward. I have a bearded dragon who is the most magnificent princess dragon that has ever existed, as everyone who has ever spoken to me knows. Princess
Hey, there's
Buttercup
Kelly.
Dragon.
Kelly came wandering in.
Hey, right on.
He definitely just.
Yeah, we should bring up. Kelly, do you want to join us?
Kelly's got his own ability to do that. He can do whatever he
Yeah,
wants.
I was about to
That's
say, I
true.
can just come up and join you if I
Yeah.
want.
And just,
Ye-
and just like that,
Yes,
I
the,
just didn't want you to
Kelly.
feel shy.
and just like that, the room IQ went up.
That's for
How are
sure.
you
How's the
doing?
mango?
Boom, 2% boost.
Yeah.
How-
That's still
How
one of
is
my
the
favorite
mango?
calls I think I ever got was the mango call.
I will never let that one go. Never letting that one go.
All right, is somebody monitoring the stream? 'Cause I'm going to do some stuff in the background.
I am, yes. I do have it on the side.
So I do want to see one.
We had
Go ahead.
Sydney Davis Jr.
Ooh, I like
but
her.
she's not using that name anymore since she got married. I think it's Sydney Davis Johan she's using now.
No way.
But her and I got a call once with a guy arguing for slavery, and I think that was my second favorite call ever.
In defense
Oh,
of?
which show are you doing that on? Is it?
The Mango call was on Atheist Experience.
XP, yeah.
And
Okay.
the slavery call was on Talk Heathen.
Talk Heathen. Okay, yeah, I'm usually so I'm more likely to catch Talk Heathen live than I am catching AXP live. I tend to watch the backlog, which not that
I'm
far.
rarely
Obviously,
on.
it's 20 years of the backlog, but
I'm not a regular host or anything. I back up. I'm a backup host a lot. So if something happens and one of them can't make it, I end up being on the show. So that's happened to me less than 10 times probably. So, but I have been on both shows once in a while, and I'm a regular on Truth Wanted on Friday nights.
I gotta say, the ones that you have, the ones that you've guest hosted, have been some of my favorite episodes.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Kelly, you were on the nonprofits too, weren't you?
I am on the nonprofits, yeah. Yeah, I've been doing the nonprofits for a long time.
I know
I'm
Neil's
not on
done
as
it a
much as I
couple of
used-
times.
Pardon?
I know Neil's done it a couple of times. I think once
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
I've been going through backlogs, and the nonprofit episodes that you're on, Kelly, are my absolute favorites. You're so
Get outta
good. You're just
here.
so good.
Get out of here.
Also, you have caught a couple of particularly juicy callers.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I've been lucky in that respect.
Scotty, are you broadcasting on the Damn Network right now, or just on the other end?
No, I'm on the Damn Network now. I posted the link in there. After the post the link to my personal one.
But it's the
coming up on
damn
the live
Discord channel. It's the damn Discord
Oh.
channel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that your bearded lizard? Your bearded dragon in your lap? Is that it?
No, she's not on cam right now. That's a cat.
Yeah, I know. I know.
oh.
I was being silly.
Don't fuck with me, Kelly.
Oh.
Come on, man.
You-
My sarcasm detector.
His face looks so worried.
My sarcasm detector is broken, man. I'm looking for the dragon. Where's the dragon? Where's
I
the dragon?
knew.
What's
Once
that?
I have camera ability, you will see my dragon. I
Oh,
promise.
Wow, that
What's-
sounds like an OnlyFans stream right there.
What's that
Oh my
episode of Star Trek where everybody devolves and then like the cat becomes a lizard? Data's cat becomes an iguana. Because that's how that works.
And that really weirded me out. I was like, boy, they are in like totally opposite branches. Like they're, it'd be like saying because they had a common ancestor, over what,
Hey, they're
200
tetrapods,
million
right?
years ago?
Well, I mean, like, you're not wrong at some point, but it wouldn't be an iguana. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, those are
Iguanas and cats would have a common tetrapod ancestor.
Cats,
But you wouldn't-
iguanas, tetrapods, it's all the same.
Yeah, that's what. But what I'm just trying to say is, iguana is not a species that is like that much older than modern cats are on the GLI. If it was a devolve, it would be, yeah. No, I'm overbraining it. I'm overbraining it for sure.
Yeah, sure. I think they just wanted an easy small pet animal that
Dang,
would
that
work
cat
for
is
the
a
joke.
killer, though.
Who was here last time? Who was here last time and remembers Bell Up? Lols.
I was. If we're doing this, we're doing this. I'm not going to respond first. I'm gonna mute myself. Let's see where this is gonna go.
Well, I'm asking. Does anybody care to hear from him? Because I mean, I have a history with him, and he's garbage. But if you want to engage them, I'll unmute him.
This is.
I don't remember what the conversation was specifically.
Oh, you'll remember soon enough.
It's not
It was
pleasant.
moving fast last time.
Yeah, he ran on for a while before I realized who he was, and then I got tired of him real quick. You gotta unmute yourself, Bell Up.
As long as
this wasn't Lawrence, was it?
Hello?
No,
it was
Lawrence.
It was the one before Lawrence. But my only thing is, like, you got insulting damn quick at Kelly and last time, and man, I know Kelly can stand up for himself, but this time I will fucking rip you a new a-hole if you go in that direction. So if that's the way you no, I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. Be way more respectful than you were last time, and I'm not going to be polite about telling you to do that. But I'm gonna mute myself and hear what you got to say.
But I would like to know why you think that we should believe what you believe.
I think they're good arguments for the immateriality of the mind, at least of thought.
Is it
That's
just
what
me,
I was
or
running past.
does anyone else have a really hard time hearing Bell Up right now?
Yeah, he needs to bring his mouth further away from the mic.
Yeah, you
The
need to
audio
clean
is
up
complete
the
garbage
audio
for me.
I'm on the bus.
You're on the bus?
The bus?
The bus?
I'm on the
Are you saying you're on a
bus.
bus right now?
Yeah, maybe call us back when you
When
when you're not on the bus.
transportation?
Scotty, I'm not hearing you.
Oh yeah, I muted myself. But yeah, you can come back when you have the phone out of your ass. I don't have any. I don't want to hear what you had to say in the first place. But I especially don't want to hear that crap.
Yeah, it was garbled, man. We got to have a clean audio.
I mean, reasonably clean. It doesn't have to be perfection, but it can't be like I only got 2 words out of everything you said. So like,
It sounded like you were talking underwater.
It was like talking with a mouthful of popcorn with your head in the popcorn bag.
So this must have been on the one event that I had to miss. I still haven't caught up.
The
to
one
that
where
live. I need to rewatch.
I absolutely garbled, or I screwed up the audio really bad, and yeah. Oh yeah, it's
all right.
So is it totally
Yeah, it's completely unsalvageable.
Scotty, we don't expect you to be magic. We just expect you to do what you can when you can.
Yeah, I gave up on it.
I agree with that. Yeah.
This whole week was. Yeah, I don't want to talk about
I
it.
expect Scotty to be magic. I'm sorry, I was promised magic, Scotty.
I'm usually
Magic.
perfect. Ask my wife. No, wait, don't ask her.
Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty usually doesn't know.
That's actually my ringtone.
So if I can jump in and throw a curveball into the...
By all means, let's have a topic.
I don't know if Kelly was watching earlier, but we were talking about some of the things going on this week with the presidential decrees that were going on, and if there was anything that stood out as specific concerns other than the one regarding trans people. We kind of put out there that's kind of a trigger warning for the people on our channel. There's some people in.
No, actually, I have smoked enough at this point that I am.
There you go.
Well, thank you.
There I go. Yes.
I was worried that he was making like DEI sound like it was racist. You know, that really bothered me. I am kind
I'm
of worried
kinda
about what's going to
confused.
happen over the next 4 years. I'm hopeful that they're not going to pass some kind of amendment to the Constitution to let them serve a third term. But
I
who
think
knows
that
if they even...
might just need a Supreme Court action.
Yeah, I think that's a real concern and a possibility. But I'm again hopeful that that gets shut down. I'm more worried about
Yeah.
what his presence there, what door it opens up. Excuse me, what door it opens up for continued crap.
That's one of the things that my son is almost 30 years old, and we have had a lot of talks about this over the last couple of weeks, and that's one of my great fears, is that this is going to bring on just individual acts of violence against people of the LGBTQ community, against atheists, open atheists, against anybody who doesn't fit their norm, right? So I mean, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's something that I fear might happen.
My concern about that line of thinking is, given what happened when they were all talking about the China virus and how that whole community experienced violence and systemic problems as a result of what was being said, mostly misinformation and false information. And I think given the community right now that strongly, I don't know how to put it exactly, but stands against the trans community, the people who are most frightened by it, could be easily pushed in that direction. And it's very frightening looking at how close that is and how easy a push off the cliff it might be. And not just in the USA, also in Canada and in other places too. I mean, the US leads the way with that sort of thing, but we have politicians in Canada who are walking right down that road behind Trump right now. So
all around the world.
Scotty, can we address the troll in the chat? Somebody mentioned about trans people being detained at the border, and then okay.
What?
I know, but I gotta say this out loud. This was just such a gross thing. For the trans people to be detained at the border, somebody in our chat said they must have done something bad for it to happen. Unfucking believable. I'm done. I cannot.
You keep saying you're done, but you have him unblocked. Block him.
Yeah, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in the stream.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. I apologize. You're right.
I'm seeing it in the live stream. I can't. That is so fucking disgusting. Anyway, I did want to lighten the mood slightly, and possibly for the other scientists or science enthusiasts in the group. When I did read the executive order regarding the protection of gender identity, I can't remember how it was worded in the title, but when I was reading it, my understanding of biology and grammar of the English language, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but did Trump just declare that every United States citizen is a woman?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Right?
The way that it's worded with
the way that it's worded, the way that it's worded.
Is my audio better?
Actually, they said that
The audio
gender
quality
is
fell off as well.
determined at conception.
Right, but
nobody has any gender.
Correct, because you don't have any sexual identity or gender or anything going on there until you're exposed to androgens and gynogens, right?
Right. So if gender is determined at conception, then we're all agender. We're all non-binary.
Yeah, we're all non-binary, or the argument that the default is female until androgens are introduced.
That's what the scientists were saying. Is like, if you go by that wording, everyone is female, because until there is an introduction to make them not female, they by default will become female.
Right. And that's the whole thing about androgen insensitivity syndrome, where you can have an XY chromosome but have androgen insensitivity syndrome and develop completely biologically female.
Is my audio better now?
Yeah,
Not
we can
that
hear you, Bella.
Oh, sweet.
not that anybody actually
So
knows
I don't want to
what their
like. I mean,
chromosomes are, really.
would it really surprise anyone if Trump signed something that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about? Like for
Oh,
real,
no,
like
that's-
every
That all the
I
time.
mean,
you watch
good
all that,
point.
you watch all these executive orders. He was like having like each time you know what I mean. Each one he got handed to him, it was like being explained by somebody else. What is this?
Well, remember, this is the playbook from Project 2025, right? So
Mhm.
he probably never read Project 2025. He's had different things
Well,
explained to him
yeah.
along the way, and every time they hand him something, they they're telling him what it is, and he knows he's signing it, and he knows he's signing it for someone, whether it's Project
Yeah, I
2025 or
think there's
Elon
a
or someone
yeah.
else.
I don't
He
think
knows
he's
there's a
read
reason behind it.
anything.
He
I
doesn't
think
know
there's a
what it
whole
means.
lot of that that's
He's
going
getting
on.
his
Like
picture taken.
you've got his like
Um,
he's this kind of symbol, this figure, right? That's like just highly electable. But there's a lot of I don't even know how much of him is like actually like specifically planning to be just this evil tyrant, right? I don't as so much as he's this person that just captivates a lot of people and uses populist rhetoric, but I think there's a lot of like special interest driving what's going on.
I feel
Donald
a
Trump
lot of us
is
have
straight up
probably
evil.
read.
I nearly got banned from a server by saying that I hope Donald Trump dies, but I don't take it back. But anyway, I wanted to push back on some of the hostilities towards me because I don't think they're entirely fair.
Nobody cares.
And I don't think
Nobody cares. Don't start that way. Just get on with whatever you wanna engage with,
well,
or don't. I
Um,
really don't care. You
what do you have against me, man? Like, what did I
I don't
do?
even know
Just
what you're
say-
talking about.
I-
Dude, I
So
met
I
you
don't know.
one
just
time.
get
I got
on with
nothing
what you
against
want
you.
to say.
I just want to hear what your argument is, or
Yeah.
like what you like. What did you come to tell
Yeah.
us about?
Let's
just
hear what you
say
got to
you're
say.
entitled to your opinion about how you feel about that, and we're all good with you having your opinion about it. And let's just move on to what you want to talk about tonight.
Don't start with whining because I'm
Well, but I mean, if I say, for example, like, oh, yeah, I think so and so is a pedophile, and then, but okay, I'm just going to move on. Like, you presumably, right, that person would probably be pretty pissed if they didn't have a chance to respond.
Bella,
And
I've
like,
never met you before. I have never met you in my life. Talk to me. Tell me
okay,
from the beginning what you think.
that's okay. So about what specifically?
You came here.
I mean, I
man.
have an argument against natural selection if you want to hear that.
Not really. Well, actually,
Your connection's deteriorating again.
yeah. Miss Non Sequitur, you're welcome to talk to him if you want. I mean, if you want to engage him, but
I will say one thing, just to address the thing that you could say that could get you kicked out of a server or even deplatformed on YouTube. I love to say my favorite is to just tell somebody, I hope you live the life that you deserve. So
I just prefer to say that I hope Donald Trump dies.
okay,
I
well,
think that gets the
damn, I
message.
came fucking out, guy.
What?
I do
Never
not
mind.
support this message.
yeah, nobody should.
I do not support this message. No.
As if,
I am willing to say that I hope Donald Trump has the life that he deserves. I am willing to say that all damn day.
I hope he's already dead. I hope that I hope he choked on his fucking
All right,
non-vegan
If
pizza.
All right, okay.
enough of that.
But anyway,
Yeah, it's not a
I'll-
conversation.
That's fine. I mean, I can present my argument against natural selection if you want.
Sure. I would love
Can
to hear
you?
an argument against natural selection. I'm listening. I'm no Forrest Valkai, but I could do my best.
Yeah, so basically the idea is that natural selection wants to say that when you have
Who
two
came up with
heritable
that?
traits.
You know who came up with natural
Uh,
selection?
Natural
shit,
selection doesn't want to
Hold
say
on.
anything.
Hold on. Hold
I
on.
caught the wrong.
I want to hear him finish. I want to hear him finish.
I'm sorry. Is this
Alright,
going to be an
sorry,
argument like where like
just
the
wanted to see how-
conclusion
I just
must
wanted to
follow
see
from the
how-
premises?
I just wanted to see
Yeah, I
how
put it in.
educated he was on the
Okay.
premise.
Yeah. I'm ready for that, actually.
Please continue
So,
your
well,
point.
go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted. So, my bad.
No, that's all right. I just caught the wrong bus, so now not the wrong train. So now I have to go all the way back. But that's all right. I'm in no rush. So I'm going to a vegan outreach / protest thing. That's pretty sick. Anyway, but basically, natural selection wants to say that if there are two heritable traits, T and T prime, and T is more conducive to fitness than T prime, then over a certain time period, T will move to fixation over and above T prime.
All right,
That's
where are you getting this
Wait, can you
declaration
actually
from
say that
natural
one more
selection?
time again, please?
Yeah, so basically, natural selection just purports to say that if we have two heritable traits, T and T prime, and T is more conducive to fitness than T prime, and where T prime is, where fitness is just cashed out as the ability to reproduce, the ability to survive, whatever it may be.
Right, so you're treating
then-
fitness as if it was like an absolute characteristic, whereas it's
I
actually
don't know what that
conditional.
means.
It's conditional to like the environment that some organism is in, right? So something that is
Yeah, I agree.
okay. So you okay, fair enough.
I agree. Like fast running might be really helpful in one condition, but not be helpful in another.
Sure, or
maybe
like
even
absorbing,
detrimental.
absorbing and holding a bunch of water might be good for a plant in like a desert, but not
Yeah,
good
exactly.
for like
Yeah.
a mangrove tree. Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
And basically, there's a difference between what's selected for and what's
Are you
selected
pacing?
of. Sorry?
He's literally
You're
traveling.
breaking up really bad.
He's still traveling. He's in a bus, or he's in
No,
a
I've got off.
station.
No, I'm trying to catch another train because I caught the train in the wrong direction because I was talking to you guys.
Well, I think somebody was just commenting on the fact that your audio was deteriorating again, but then it came back.
Yeah, I got out of the room.
All right. Well,
So-
wherever you are now, stand there while you're talking to us, because if you move, we might lose you.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'll
be
stay.
careful. Pay attention to your surroundings.
I'll stay where I am. So now there's a distinction between the selection process and that there's a difference between traits that are selected of and traits that are selected for. For example, what's an example? Okay, so let's take polar bears for instance, right? Let's say that there are polar bears, and a trait that's conducive to fitness that helps them survive
Can you
is.
do me a favor and just stay out of analogies or an example? Like put your idea together in a way that the words are meaningful to this conversation, and then we can get
I
into
don't know if I can
discussing
do
how it
that.
operates.
I can't do that without examples. That's near impossible.
You can't
Okay,
tell us
you
that
said you had an
believe
argument.
without examples?
Well, you
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to understand the argument without examples.
Could you try and just give just the argument, and then if we don't understand it, we could ask for examples?
that's a better
Yeah,
way
I
to
mean,
go. Yeah, let's just. What is
Oh,
the point?
all right. I can give the argument. Well, sorry, give me 1 second. So this is what my friend and I put together. I'll put it in text chat. So it's just three premises conclusion. If selection is an external, if selection is an extensional notion, then natural selection is false. If selection is an intentional notion, then natural selection is vacuous. Either selection is an extensional or an intentional notion, and the conclusion just means that either natural selection is false or vacuous. But like I said, I don't think that. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if you'll be able to understand the argument about examples.
Yeah, can you
I
define
don't
extensional
understand
and
because.
intentional notions?
Thank you.
Yeah, so they're sort of philosophical terms, but an extensional or an intentional notion just is basically says that when you have two co-referring terms, for example, let's say Clark Kent and Superman, right? So when these two,
Sorry, I'll mute
you
myself.
okay? Yeah, so when you have these two terms, right, they refer to the same thing, right? Superman, Clark Kent, they're the same person. They mean the same reason. Now, an extensional notion is when you can substitute two co-referring terms and the identity relation holds, right? So, for example, an extensional notion might be Superman is flying over Metropolis. In which case, if that's an extensional notion, then it follows that Clark Kent is flying over Metropolis.
I'd like to break in here, Bella. I got to get some clarity because
Sure.
to be perfectly honest, you are delivering a ton of word salad, and I am holding proof that you don't know what you're talking about. Whoops, sorry, buddy. I know that was fast. Sorry. I'm literally holding proof that you don't know what you're talking about when it comes to genetic selection.
I've got my camera off, so
okay.
I can't see what you're holding.
Sure. I am a snake breeder, and I literally play with genes for money. So you've just been delivering a bunch of word salad that is meaningless in the face of I actually know how to select the genes that I want. It's called artificial selection, right? I can do this. I do it on a regular basis. Natural selection is just fitness for environment determining which genes make it and which don't, as opposed to me deciding which genes make it and which don't. So I'm literally better at this than the God that I don't believe you're arguing for. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to natural. I don't care. It's irrelevant. I'll admit I made that assumption. I'll admit I made that assumption. I'll admit I made that assumption. I'm not going off topic. I'm telling you. I'm telling you why you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Bella,
so which premise
what
of the
are you
argument is
arguing
false?
for if not for God?
I'm arguing that natural selection is not a scientific theory. I can't really.
Okay.
Well, extensional and intentional are things that describe concepts. Are you describing?
Yeah, that's
like,
right.
are you okay? So, when we talk about natural selection, we're talking about an emergent process, and we categorize it because it happens frequently in the natural world. So we use concepts to describe it, right? But are you just arguing against the concept, or are you saying that like the process doesn't hapen? Because we have empirical evidence that the process happens over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not. Dude, can you just go? Listen, I'm not denying evolution, and I'm not denying universal common ancestry, and I'm not denying atheism. All of those things I think are probably true. I'm not denying any of that.
But you're denying natural selection, which is a part of all of that.
It's got nothing to do with
Why are you picking this one
If not natural
aspect?
selection, then what?
natural history. I don't think there are any laws of selection.
No, selection is just that fitness for environment, because you have selection pressures. The main selection pressures are reproduction and survival, right? Whether that is you basically just surviving long enough to pass your genes along to the next generation. That's all it is.
I don't have very long, so can I just wait?
Well, I mean, I don't really want
I
to
don't have
listen to
very
you.
long, so can I just say what I want to say and you not argue with it? Is that what you're asking us?
Huh.
Sorry?
I'm asking you if you're saying you don't have very long to talk, so we should just not argue with your poor points of view.
Well, I'm saying that I don't think you really understand the argument, right? Because none of you knew what it.
Then maybe hang on. Maybe you picked the wrong arena at this point. So JT, so far you've been the one who seems most able to engage on his level. Would you agree?
I don't know. I'm trying to listen, and
do you
just looking at things.
Do you see any value in this? Because I really don't. But
well, I'm looking at the argument. You got, if selection is extensional notion, then natural selection is false. If selection is an intentional notion, then it's vacuous. Either selection is extensional or intentional. Conclusion, either selection is false or vacuous. And so I feel like we've been going in like circles. I feel like we've been going in circles, and it's like I'm not. It's not clear. None of these premises are clear to me. That
every time he comes up, I feel like this is where it goes. Nowhere.
To me, it just seems like wordplay on the word selection that it's being used. I mean, you're using a terminology that's been adapted by the scientific community to describe a far more intricate process, and this was adapted by scientists a long time ago, and we've just carried it forward. But when we're talking about natural selection, there's more evidence for natural selection on this planet than there is for anything else. And
well, this is a conceptual argument.
And your argument conceptually is fine. I mean, you can have concepts about stuff, you can have theoreticals, you can have all this stuff, but we have all the evidence. And when you start giving
evidence
us
has nothing to do with it.
Superman versus someone else as an example of your evidence, you're not winning anything.
Evidence has nothing. Look, evidence has.
Look, for the last fucking time, stop talking over people. Go ahead, Dave.
I'll let him talk for that, but I mean, I'd be interested in looking at what you're putting out there. If it's just redefining the words or the terminology natural selection and saying, well, it's not a selection. Okay, we grant that. Fine. It means nothing to the actual scientific community or the enormity of the evidence in multiple disciplines, in multiple sciences. It means nothing to that. If you want to redefine a word, go ahead. We don't care.
Bellop, what do you mean in P3? Are you trying to set up a dichotomy that like any concept is either extensional or intentional?
Well, that's just true. I'm not going to argue you for that point.
So it follows from your argument that like everything in your universe is either false or vacuous. Every single concept.
No, that doesn't follow.
Well, so then P3 is like not true.
No, premise 3. No, so there might be extensional concepts or intentional concepts that aren't vacuous and aren't false. But that doesn't
Okay, so then
mean
so
that,
then so then either P1 or P2 is not true.
sorry? I think all the premises
Well,
are true.
right.
I think the
No,
argument
like
stands.
you just said, if you can have an
Oh,
extensional
God.
notion that's not false, then P1 is false. If you can have an intentional notion that's not vacuous, then P2 is false.
Wait, look, sorry, I do have to go now.
So
But
all premises are false,
Oh, darn.
no, I don't. What?
or
No,
or
look,
at least all premises
no, I'm
can be
saying.
false.
Well, yeah, obviously, that's just obviously true. But look,
like, you have an unsound
look,
argument.
dude, look, just 1 second. Look, first of all, oh, hey, I'm gonna be over there in a second. Yeah. So,
As you leave, I just want to say blogs are not evidence.
Oh gosh,
Well,
my
look,
friends need me. I better go get to my friends now.
I appreciate you visiting.
look,
Wasn't it,
this is a blog post.
Wasn't it going off to lunch last time with his mom?
Yeah. No, that
No,
was,
that was Game Master. My
somebody
bad.
else,
Sorry.
yeah.
No,
There's a lot
I'm
of
mixing up dishonest interlocutors.
There's a lot of good reasons to say things and stand up to what this person particularly is putting forth. We don't really need to overreach and attack the person. The ideas are bad enough, and the connection was bad enough. It is what it is. Let's not.
That's mostly.
Let's not get dragged into the.
That's
gutter
mostly
by
why I removed him, because I mean his arguments are
No,
bad
you're
enough,
right.
but
You're right. I'm
it was
sorry.
constant. It was just constant. This audio was crap. I already have plenty of experience with him. He's just, every time he gets up there, it becomes this thing where he doesn't have time. We're not smart enough to understand. Whatever. Fuck off.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about snakes anyway.
Well, and honestly, I mean,
We do have
no.
we do have Game Master wanting to come up now. I don't know if you want to have him up here.
I will mute myself the entire conversation if that's happening, but I will listen in. I promise, Scotty, I will keep myself.
I don't expect he'll be here long, so we'll see how this goes.
Oh,
You've got the stage, man. We're all waiting.
actually, you know what? Keep talking about snakes. I just want to have fun around here.
I heard cucumber steaks. What is that? Was that just me?
No, keep talking about snakes. Sorry.
Keep
My voice
talking
is
about
not
snakes.
clear.
Gotcha. Well, that was valuable. You came up to tell us that.
What?
Nothing. Moving on. So,
Yeah,
JT,
that was.
I've seen you a couple times, but what's your story? Tell me, because you seem to be fairly knowledgeable on that subject. Plus, you've got a picture of Hobbes there, who I'm a huge fan of. So,
Oh, sorry. I was just in the restroom. Did I miss something?
well, thank you for muting yourself for that. No, I said you seem
It's in a different room.
you seem to be very knowledgeable when he was on the subject that he was bringing up. So I was just curious what your story is.
Oh, I'm just like, I just like reading about philosophy and logic and stuff.
Okay.
It's just like hobby type things.
He is. So he is 100%. He's a philosopher, bro.
That's why getting them
bro.
to put like getting them to give you the argument either in chat or like
Right.
one by one you write it down. Like that shit is worth its weight in gold.
Yep. And I'll be honest. I said before, philosophy bores the shit out of me. So he has so many strikes against him when he comes up. If his audio was decent, I might have just for the sake of conversation let it roll. But
I know it bores a lot of people. I used to hate it, but like, and I always liked science and stuff. But I've learned there's some value in knowing. I don't know. So I try to learn, and as I've learned more, I got more interested. Just like I said, as a hobby, but. I don't know. I guess that'll be because I've heard a lot of other people say they just hate hearing about it.
Well, a lot
So
of
that'll
people.
be my thing when some philosophy bro comes in.
I mean, everybody else asks good questions
a
too.
bad
I
thing.
hate hearing bad arguments.
Sure, it's always good to hear those, but like I said, I didn't want to engage them, but it seemed like everybody else did, and so I want to give him a chance. But I appreciate.
Well, as soon as you like showed him where like you let him like tell you his own shit was invalid, he bounced immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I see Sybin's in the audience. Sybin can tell you about our history with him. He's such a dishonest piece of shit. And
It's not invalid.
I'm still new enough to this anti-apologetics, anti-logic situation that I'm just like it's irresistible to me. I have to argue with them, and it's not always good for me.
Yeah, you'll grow.
I think it's cool to
grow
see
out
all
of
the
that.
different approaches different people like have. It's like such a different, diverse community. People have all kinds of different ways of.
I feel like I'm the worst person to because I'm just totally done with that whole arena. But I really would like to see how other people deal with it and argue against it. I'm definitely more of a lurker on those things, but I appreciate you all stepping up and taking a swing.
My thing is always been
Point for anger management issues.
Hang on, what, Dave?
Philosophy isn't like it's not a bad thing. I personally, it's not my thing, but I think that it's a tool, and it can be used in good ways. It can be used in bad ways. It's not like it's bad to study philosophy.
Oh,
as long as you know
I
how to
agree.
use it.
I agree. I don't think it's bad.
I do think that there's like some people out there that learn a lot about philosophy and use it in really bad ways that are very convincing to people that don't know what's going on. And so I think that there's some value in like at least some people, I don't know, learning, like being able to, point out what's going on. Because I see it in a lot, especially like in a lot of like, I don't know, other online spaces where there's not so many voices like ours.
we have spaces like who was on tonight, Justin or J Mike or Forrest or Erica or people who are former pastors and all that. And my thing, I've told you guys before in here, I'm staying in my lane. I was never a pastor. I was in the church for 30 plus years, so I was never taught the Bible. Like I was taught the Bible, little snippets of it here and there. So when somebody comes in and they have an argument, I'm like, okay, put your argument in simple terms. It's meaningful to the conversation, to the people in here. If you want to put your dissertation out there, publish it. Have it peer reviewed. This isn't the forum for it. And personally, if it's a theory and it includes something about Superman, I'm not real concerned with it, especially when you're trying to
ridiculous.
You're trying to disprove.
That was too much.
The thing that we have the most evidence for anything ever in all of history on this planet, you're going to disprove it with an example that includes a comic book hero. Like, come on. But that's my take.
I believe Kelly wanted to say something.
Not that I don't like.
I was going to
comics,
say, Vic, your ever so slightly stuffy nose is kind of adorable. I'm just saying.
You're very kind. All right, but I do think that Kelly wanted to say something.
It's all good. The moment is past.
Oh.
Oh no! Say it anyway.
All good. Actually, to be honest with you, I totally forgot what it was. I think it was. Oh, I remember now. You were saying that philosophy could be used as a tool, and to use your I am not a philosophy bro, and I'm wondering what a tool does something. What does philosophy do?
And are people who enjoy philosophy also tools?
So I think
That was my first
philosophy
thought.
helps you. I think philosophy can help you do a lot of things, like understand. Like I think when you're engaging in skepticism, that's you're engaging in philosophy.
Sure. But from the way I've seen it used, especially on these Discord servers, I've seen it used just for hours and hours of just mental masturbation, which is fine. And then when you waste your own time and you have just yourself to masturbate with, but for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's different from bloviating of any kind. I mean, like there's engaging, like, you know, like the philosophy of science is like where basically all of our understanding of, you know, the world that we come into contact with through, you know, empirical means comes from. So I think there's something meaningful with like using philosophy as a tool for understanding the world that you at least seem to be living in, right? But there's a lot of people who use it to obfuscate meaning, and they use wrong definitions, or they engage with arguments when, like, if you're not prepared to understand like why the conclusion of an argument would be incorrect, then you're not able to argue with some of these apologists, I think, a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Really isn't.
argue with them about stuff like that though. I try to get them to talk about why I should believe not,
Sure.
because what I find usually that what they're using philosophy for is to prove that God exists.
Sure,
And I
and
don't
there's
give a
like
shit.
there's I think
I'll
some
give
people
you
that are,
God exists.
but I think that there's like a lot of, I think there's like, you have so many varied approaches for people that are arguing for theism, that like there's a lot of people that are going to hit your method and like run into a brick wall, and like there's a lot of people that'll hit my method and run into a brick wall, you know. And so I just think, I don't know, I think there's different approaches that are like worthwhile, but
I feel like
someone like that
I
is
feel like
just talking bullshit. Bella.
I feel like publication has a lot to do with people saying, "Look at me, I'm awfully clever to have done this.
Yeah.
Look at it.
That's
Argue with it.
100% him.
I'm
Only if they
clever."
publish something outside of peer review. Like if they publish a book that's an opinion, or, you know, obviously.
Well, no, even with
not
peer
concerned
review,
with
they're
being
asking.
proven.
Yeah, no, they're saying, "Look how clever I am. Argue with me so I can show how clever I am." I mean, like,
If
even
they
for
are
peer
clever,
review.
that's great. That's how we change. That's how we learn things. That's how we
Right,
develop. Right?
exactly.
There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the people
No,
who
no,
go
I'm
out
not saying there
and-
is.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's great.
Yeah.
My thing about the philosophical arguments, and you see them on the chat shows all the time, the call-in shows and all that. And my first thing I would say to anyone who has a philosophical argument is, I'm going to concede that what you're trying to prove as a supernatural deity is not impossible. What do you have after that? Well, let's just grant it's not impossible. Unicorns are not impossible. There's lots of things that we can pose that are not impossible. Let's get to that point. What do you have that's beyond that? And that's usually where the conversation ends.
Magnetic monopoles are not impossible. Show me one.
I wanted to say earlier, Kelly, you said philosophy is a tool. What does philosophy do? It opens your mind, man.
Yeah, the problem is it's a tool for a lot of. It's a tool of confusion too. It's a tool depending on who uses it.
I was about to say, I got a cigarette here that does the same thing, man.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think Lowell just likes to hear the sound of his own voice, and he's got a bunch of people that he can talk to on debate that are on Discord. I think he's just so deep.
We in Canada, weed's been legal for like 25 years. So if you don't have weed when somebody says weed online, and you lose your Canada card, you just can't be Canadian anymore. So
I mean,
gotta make sure you show your weed. That's why Ollie's always got a big jar or a bag handy.
And Virginia just re-illegalized Delta 8, for God's sake. Hemp.
I got the volcano filling bags right next to me.
Okay, but yeah, the term California sober is getting around the country.
I don't know.
Everybody knows what California sober means now.
I don't.
Well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people do.
I have no idea.
Oh,
educate us.
Yeah.
Okay, California sober.
Nobody...
Well,
Go ahead.
California sober is weed is literally the only substance that you, no alcohol, no other drugs, but weed is okay. Weed doesn't count.
Yo, that's my bad. I moved from coast to coast in 2019 from San Diego to Florida, and I accidentally spread California sober across the country.
You're the one who got it.
I mean,
there
my
it
fault,
is.
y'all.
I got it. No, the thing is, though, cigarettes haven't counted forever. So why would weed, honestly?
In British Columbia, we've had weed around so long that there is, like, problematic instances of weed use at work, weed use with heavy machinery, weed use in automobiles. So it's treated like you can walk down the street and smoke as much weed as you want. Walk down the street with a Budweiser, a cop sees you, he'll pour it out, right? But if you're behind the wheel and you get tested, you're done. It's the same crime.
Which is fine with me. I never operate my vehicle when I have had anything for the last 2 hours. Anything at all.
You should have a law like that for donuts too, because when you're bouncing on that much sugar, that's probably not good behind the wheel.
I recently tested pre-diabetic, but it wasn't the sugar. Sugar is not my bag. The bread. The awful, evil bread.
I was just tested for that at my last appointment, my annual physical. But I am optimistic, especially because weighed in this year. I lost 40 pounds since my physical last year.
Congratulations.
I know, right? I was like, and I didn't even like take off my shoes or my pants or anything this time. I was just like, I know I lost weight. I know it's not going to be as bad as it was last time. And I stepped on, and even with like fully dressed, didn't take anything out of my pockets. And I know the people who are on the chunkier side know exactly what I mean. Take everything out of your pockets, take your shoes off. You want to be as like stripped down as you possibly can in front of that triage nurse and not be completely embarrassed for it. But yeah, 40 pounds. I was stoked. So I think my diabetic are on the better side of not being there, since I did lose the weight and I was like, on the edge last time and probably closer to not being on the edge this time. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's what my doctor said. My doctor said, you're just over pre-diabetic. This is easy for you to fix. Just cut down on the carbs and cut down on the alcohol. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. I almost never eat candy. So, yeah, the other ones, not as easy to cut down on.
Yeah, we all have to be mindful about balance in our life, especially with our diet and exercise and health concerns. Everything in I don't want to say everything in moderation, but there has to be some sort of reasonable balance. Like if you're not feeling well, you're not appearing well and you're not doing well, and your doctor says you're not well, change your
Yeah,
habits.
no, absolutely. Yeah. If you're not
Everything
feeling
in
Maybe
well,
moderation,
something needs to
including
change.
moderation.
I have a friend who just did really well in a change in their life, and it was 100% lifestyle change. Like you have to adjust a lot of thinking, a lot of behavior, and we all have bad habits. I have bad habits, and I try to deal with my bad habits in a way that is healthy. That I can say, I'll have a donut like once every 2 weeks. I won't have a donut every 4 hours, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
deal with it in a healthy way.
And that's how I can be with sugar. Like for my birthday, I had 2 salted caramel cookies and half a Heath bar, and I shared the rest with my kiddo and my housemate. So, sugar is what I would like the rest of my vices to be like. I can just totally take them or leave them. I can have a little bit and then share the rest. It's not quite like that yet, though.
I don't have kiddos, so I don't have kiddos, and I don't have a dog, and I don't have a cat. So if I buy it, I'll be gonna eat it. Although, when I go to Krispy Kremes, they have these New York cheesecake donuts, and quite often I'll cut them in
Oh
half
my God.
and take half
Oh.
of one to work for coffee break or whatever. Get a few minutes for
I'm
a
not sure
coffee
how
break.
you manage to do that. I
Oh,
would gobble the whole thing down.
there's so much food energy in one of those. You could probably launch a rocket to the moon with the energy in one of those.
Mm,
Well,
cheesecake donut. Blah.
if you want a really fun and easy to care for pet, I will have baby snakes available by this summer.
Oh,
Corn
thank you.
snakes?
Huh?
Corn snakes?
No, ball pythons.
Oh, I don't want a ball python.
Oh,
They're
my ball
they're
pythons
they're
don't want you
stupid.
either.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
The balls are adorable.
no,
Look
they
at the
are.
little
They
like
are.
Carmel like smile.
I had one in elementary school, and he was so stupid. He was just the most moronic thing I've ever met in my life. He would stop eating during mating season, and then he'd forget
That's
how to
normal.
eat. Yeah,
They are
well,
dorks
I
sometimes.
can't deal with it. Dumb, dumb, dumb. My sweet little
I
Beardy. She knows how to eat. She'll gobble everything.
yeah, I've got Bowen Pirator too, and he is just such a freaking rodent garbage can. I love him.
A very
I
wise
am
friend of
going
mine
to
once.
drop out, and I'll see you all around. I usually see you all around during the week at some point. So, you guys have a good night.
Night, Kelly. Thanks for
You have a
jumping
good
in.
night.
Night,
Have a lovely
Kelly.
weekend.
Thank you for
Episode
joining us.
Nonprofits or
Take care of
Talk
yourself.
Heathen
I'll
Thanks
Night.
see
for
you soon.
having me.
Always welcome.
And if you haven't already, go check out. Don't do it now. Keep watching us if you're watching us. But like, check Kelly was on Talk Heathen tonight. So, I'm getting peed on. Okay. God damn it!
Wow.
Oh, I've got a shirt to change.
Oh, that's a
See what you
dirty
get?
There you
That's
go.
karma.
Yep,
That's
yep,
karma
Ball
right there.
pythons.
That's
Yo,
that just
chat,
happened.
That's
clip
karma.
this.
You
Oh my
There
God,
you
he's
go.
not stopping.
you pimp another show
What
and
did
you
I
get peed
say?
on, man. That's how that works.
My bearded dragon has never pooped on me.
Yeah, that cloaca action was going off.
She did poop on
Oh my
my
god.
roommate the last time I was rearranging her terrarium, but she's never pooped on me, so it still counts.
Nasty fucker.
Yeah, have you like had her on you for longer than, I don't know, 5 minutes?
Yes, no, I've had her on me for hours. I just
My only
always do that after she has pooped in her terrarium where, I can clean it up easily. Because I'm
Right.
smart.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was kind of thinking like, has he ensured that Loki had been to the bathroom that day?
Nope. You forgot that part.
So what you're saying is your snake and your bearded dragon aren't potty trained.
She never poops in her bed.
I didn't know you could potty train them till just now. Or is that a lie?
I don't know.
You can encourage in cordoned off areas.
And
Just keep them in
I have been
keep them
told.
in what, like a terrarium, and then that way they only use the bathroom in the terrarium.
Well, bearded dragons need a temperature of at least 85 to 100 degrees. So yes, she always lives in the terrarium.
I wish I always lived in a
How-
terrarium.
How do you handle having her out, and about outside her terrarium? Does she get cold often?
She does. I can keep her out for probably around. Well, okay. The last time we had a power outage, she was not under any warm lights for 3 hours, and she got very slow and very sluggish and very cranky. Very cranky. But she was fine by the next day when the power went back on. So she can survive for probably 6 or 12 hours. But it's not very healthy for her to be out of the heat for more than an hour or two.
Okay, that makes sense. That probably explains why they always sit in one place while you're
The colder they get, the more
chilling with them.
sluggish they get. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll just like chill in one little area as they slowly freeze from hypothermia.
But if you hold them to your body, they will adjust to your own body heat because we make our own warmth. They can't do
Yes.
that.
You say
Right.
you say we make our own warmth. You're not talking about girlfriends, right? Because they will
No,
suck the heat out of you with their feet at the first opportunity, no matter where you're sitting or how asleep you are.
Not me. Not me. I am also a space heater, but that could be because, I mostly like girls. So that could be an adaptive thing.
I literally went out and bought those little, they're not like bean bags, but they're like things you put in the microwave to heat up.
Ooh,
And
with the little the flexi metal thing in them to turn them on.
no, these ones you put them in the microwave for like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, what are they called? They've got what's the bean
Magic
called?
bag or something like that. They were like those.
Yeah, it's like a hot water bottle.
Yeah. So I would get one of those, and at about 9:15 at night, I'd heat it up and I'd put it in the bed, and then I'd put a pillow on top of the bed, so that the heat would stay in there and it would be warm. Because if I didn't, the moment that I was comfortable and about to fall asleep, I'd get 2 icy cold feet right on my ass to warm them up. And if there was no
good
bag
boyfriend.
in the bed, I was like,
Good
not
boyfriends.
Cool. Not cool.
Flaxseed.
I like the ones that have the salt mixture in them, and then they have the little flexi disc, So you don't have to stick them in the microwave. You can just press the disc.
Oh. Are those the ones that you boil to reset them?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've seen those, but they took too long to warm up, and I couldn't take the chance.
Oh, no. They warm up fast. Try them. I promise.
Well,
They warm up almost
we actually
too
have
much.
the small ones that go in the back of your mitts at work. They'll give them to us. Like the other day we were out there and it was -3, and they provide us with gloves, So the gloves are okay, like when it's cold or when it's wet or whatever. But at -3, your hands are gonna get pretty cold after a while. They come around with these like snappable hot pocket things that you jam in the gloves, and they keep your hands warm. They're actually effective for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, then they get hard and not so good. But in the meantime, they're
They're
very
warm.
good.
Yeah.
Almost too warm.
So speaking of cold, the other day, I can't remember how long ago it was because time has totally become meaningless to me. But I think it was, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days ago. Um, we had that sudden cold front come in South Texas, and the temperature suddenly dropped so low that we got our first like National Weather Service cold weather alert warning, where it's having to tell people to wear like masks over their faces because Texas, you don't put a mask over your face. You don't do like that extra like bundling up. Like, we use heavy jackets, and obviously when you go north, like towards the Panhandle, that's when you could get some like uh negative Fahrenheit temperatures. Um, but here, like you get a bit below freezing, and that's kind of as far as it goes.
When you say
So,
panhandle, you don't mean Alaska panhandle, right?
no, no, no.
Just for clarification.
Texas,
Yeah.
Texas Panhandle. Yeah, no, just the Texas Panhandle. Uh, so the north part of Texas, you got that little squared off tip, and that's what we call the Panhandle. And that area, it's always cold, it's always freezing. I've seen videos of people from Amarillo who will like take like a picture of steaming water and throw it in the air, and it instantly freezes into like snow.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it can get pretty
so
cold up there.
freezing, quote unquote.
Who's the
Yeah.
who's the guy he's a content creator and he's up in Alaska? He's like, I can't remember his name now. He's been on Neil's show before, and he's been on a couple of different streams. His name eludes me.
I'm not familiar with this
Anyway,
person.
he's up in an area right now where the news came out last week, and they told people not to leave their homes because their lungs would freeze if they breathed in too quickly.
Wow.
Zod's in Alaska?
That's stupid cold.
Just over I think it's like -37 Celsius, and you are running into danger of like the corners of your eyes freezing and your nasal passages
Oh
freezing.
my God.
Yeah. Friend of
Oh,
mine's
my
from
nasal
Whitehorse.
passages would just freeze closed.
They had jackets that zipped up, and they actually connected to the hood that came over the jacket, and their jacket came up to their eyes, and they were like wearing ski goggles, top, right? So keep them.
I think you'd have to.
Yeah. Do not want to get
Wow.
caught out in the cold out there. Yeah, Zod, Prophet of Zod. Thank you, Phantom X. Yes.
Yeah. That's why I asked Zod was in Alaska. I guess, you know what? I do remember hearing him talk about his deconstruction and how he was like in a school in Alaska. I wasn't sure if he was still in Alaska. I just knew he was from there.
I think he's closer to
So now
Carcross.
that
Somebody said, is he near Nome? I think he's up near Carcross. I'm not 100% sure, but it's like just north of Whitehorse, if I recall
I'm
correctly.
vaguely aware.
But there's some
I've
there's some
heard
places up
Whitehorse.
there that are frighteningly cold. But I mean, when you look at the polar vortex and how that comes down through Canada, northern Alberta, and northern Saskatchewan, they're hitting like -45 there. It's crazy cold. it's nothing but polar bears outside, and those polar bears just dig themselves into a snowbank and wait it out. So down here, the coldest I've ever been in my life is minus 19 Celsius.
I couldn't hear you, Sapper.
That's okay. It appears I was about to step on Dave anyway, but I was just going to say that was Loki's mischievous little way of reminding me that I needed to do laundry and get a shower before bed.
Are jerks, just like cats.
yeah, no, I mean, like, it's not like there aren't every other pet that can potentially pee on you, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I was holding on to him for quite some time. He got comfortable.
This is a nice warm spot to relieve myself.
And it's not where I normally, like, put my head.
Honestly, it was
Yeah,
just
you're
ideal.
saying that cats can be jerks.
It
but
was, like, super, like, the timing on it was just, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Here it goes. And you know what's great? What's great? I got out of the shower and I go back and I check and he's already like in his water dish drinking. Like, fuck, you just fucking, you gotta fill up again already? What the fuck?
Gotta get that reload.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated, yeah. Hey, my snake's got it down, but yeah. Now you know why I named him Loki. He is absolutely, he has lived up to the name. He has lived up to the name.
Hey, Vic, is that the same cat, or is that another new cat? Swapping them out on us?
It's the same cat. He just turned around.
It just looks different in profile, right?
Yeah.
He's got the little star there and everything. See? He's just being a little sweetheart. He's the one cat that has never tried to like scratch or bite anyone. He loves snuggles. He loves belly rubs. He likes to have his little belly tickled, and he doesn't do that thing where like other cats will make it look like they want to be belly rubbed, but they don't actually want to be, and they attack you.
Yeah, all they're doing is tempting you with a vein.
And he genuinely likes it. Like he'll start purring and kneading and everything. He's a sweet little boy. He can get very noisy for food. He's very food motivated. But otherwise he's a good boy. He when he gets sick, he definitely has a hard time. Like recently he got sick, and it's because he was so upset about not having like the food bowl exactly how he likes it, where you can't see the bottom of the bowl. If he could like start to see the bottom of it, he acts like there's no food at all. And about a month ago, he started trying to eat plastic and like chew on trash bags and things like that. And of course that made him sick. But I was able to pull everything out of his reach and fix everything so he can't get it anymore. And he still gets food whenever he wants it. You know, I have to do it a little bit at a time, but he's not starving. Like he is a well-fed kitty. He's 16 years old. He'll be 17 in May, and he is starting to show his age a little bit. But when I took him to the vet last month, when he got sick, they said that, you know, everything, he seems to be doing really well for his age. He used to be very overweight. He was 21 pounds at one point, and he is now 14 pounds. He lost a lot of weight.
He's about 5'3".
You know, I don't know what his actual like measurement size would be.
Your vet will know.
He's slightly bigger than my Jack Russell.
Oh.
I if that gives you any. I mean, they're almost the same size. He's definitely longer. I would say he's longer than my geckos. But they're about the same height.
I think I showed you guys pictures of my sister's Bengal cat, and they have
Oh,
really
yes.
long bodies and really long tails, but they are wiry. Oh man! And their legs, I think their legs are actually longer too. But man, can those things move? And they are when they don't want to be around you, they aren't around you. They just go.
This little one is inseparable.
I wanted to say I also love animals. I have 4 cats. I've had cats since I was like, at least one cat since I was like 5. What are your guys' views on veganism?
I mean, I can answer that real quick. If it's not for me, but if it's for you, cool.
They dated a woman who was vegetarian, not vegan, and she got me into eating. I live in a city where we have lots of options for really good vegan food and really good vegetarian food. So she got me into eating twice a week off of a basically non-meat menu, and I still do that. I think it's a great thing to do for the world around us, and I think it's a healthy option. No issues with it at all, and my only concern is people who go vegan should be very careful about taking their diet away from our natural diet that far, and just monitor their health a little more carefully than everybody else. But outside of that, if they're mindful of what they're putting in their body and what their situation is, then great.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been.
my main issue is just health concerns. I just have, I have multiple health issues that already affect what type of diet I can have, and so I'm limited on how far I could go. I try to incorporate as much, vegetarian qualities as much as I can. But I still have to bring in some animal products to supplement it. But that's just it's a health thing, and you know, maybe there could come a day when I could do a little bit more and go more in that direction. But until then, otherwise, everyone, I feel like everyone should be able to try the diet to various degrees that they need to while staying healthy. I think it's got to be a personal choice, and as long as no one else is getting hurt from it, then yeah, I don't see why not.
Also, I'd say I live in an area where there's a large East Indian community, and a number of them are a part of a religion that they don't eat meat. And they flat out tell me that, like, living where we are in the city we're in, it's impossible to not have milk, not have eggs, not have cheese. There's just certain things about the food that we eat that there's cross contamination, there's other things going on, and it is impossible for them to live by a strictly vegan diet. It's virtually impossible out here.
I just gotta say, Scotty, when you said vegans taste delicious, I went a different way with that in my mind than probably most people did.
Oh, that joke was meant for everybody. Take it however you want. We ate at a restaurant down in Vegas, the Blackout restaurant, where everything is completely dark. Like literally, like literally, you can't see anything at all. They lead you to your table, and the waiter, he's wearing night vision goggles, and he describes the layout of the table in front of you, and he describes if you panic, ask for help. If you really need to be shown out, we can walk you out, type thing. Because some people get a little anxious in pure dark. And walked us through like 5 courses, I think. And after it was all said and done, he didn't tell us what we were eating. He just described what you're going to be experiencing as far as the food, the texture, and what have you. Each time, until you ate it and enjoyed it. When he was done, he said that the entire menu was vegetarian, and there was one. Like a meat dish. I thought it was a meat dish. It was in gravy. It was warm, and it felt like it had the same texture, but it was all vegetarian. Anyway,
I mean, I've been vegan for 8 years, and actually,
What?
yeah, I've heard this argument before. I don't get it. I don't know where the two are connected.
You'd have a better argument saying vegans are more likely secular humanists, not atheists. I think most of the vegans I know are spiritual of some description or another, not necessarily the same.
Everyone who
seems
says
like
they're
those
secular
are.
humanist
It seems
ends
like
up in
those are
one.
not related at all.
Wow.
Okay then.
But
This
people,
is.
I'm
this is
sorry, I
getting
don't mean
weird.
to like be annoying. It's just that every person who said I'm a secular humanist, they've annoyed me. Like Matt
That
Delahanty,
sounds like a whole lot of
he's an
your
idiot.
problem.
He annoys me.
it's definitely a you
I
problem.
was gonna say I'm not really surprised by you saying that because I can see how that would rub you the wrong way. But
Yeah.
I mean,
How
it's
dare
really a
somebody?
commentary
How
on the
dare
other people.
somebody be altruistic simply for the sake of doing the right thing and not out of fear of being punished for eternity because you upset a god? Yeah. Why
I
does
don't
that
believe in
make
God.
sense? No.
I don't
Oh my
believe in
god.
God.
I don't
I don't know
care.
what you're talking about.
That's not what he meant.
Look, anyway, but I was gonna say that I've been vegan for 8 years, and I also have many medical conditions. I was born with a congenital heart disease. I also went to a psych ward for like a month with depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. And actually at the hospital, one of the doctors was like, you may want to consider eating chicken again because you're B12 deficient. And I was like, I really don't want to do that because I know how the chickens are treated in the factory farms, and I don't want to support that. And basically, flash forward to a few weeks ago, I got my blood tested, and they said that my iron and B12 levels were absolutely great. They were actually like high, very high. And they said that that's not a problem with B12 because you can't really have too much. So you might even want to like tone it down a little bit. You don't need to spend as much money on supplements as you are. Not that I was spending that much money to begin with. I was spending like, I don't know, $10.
I'm glad that you were
Every
able to get what you
few
can.
months.
Yeah,
Just-
that's good news.
That is one thing that I do have to preface that everyone has their own individual health journey with their doctors, and that their doctors should be the one monitoring it. One thing that I really dislike is when someone says, you need to do this diet. Your doctor doesn't know what they're saying. They make recommendations for people when they don't know their health history. They don't know what their journey has been like with their doctor.
My
so
argument's about ethics.
And that's
Okay,
fine.
Why is it clear that I should like
I'm just-
be healthy from like an ethic? Why
What?
is it like why? Well, no, like why am I ethically obligated to be healthy?
No. When I say my argument's an ethical argument, I'm talking about animal rights. I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay.
Although
yeah,
I
yeah.
do think, I do think you should be healthy.
Sure.
but,
Yeah. Okay.
Oh wow.
And what I'm saying is that we want to strive for good ethics. I think that's a great goal. I'm also saying that we need to make some room for people to hit a middle ground where they try their best to live an ethical lifestyle, with what they eat, while in addition to taking care of their health in a way that works with a doctor and a dietitian.
Okay, I see. But my argument, I'm just assuming, I assume when I argue about veganism
Could you
that
actually render it? The argument?
Sorry?
The argument, could you render it?
Yeah.
JT Saint.
Basically, I have an argument from analogy. I basically say, well, imagine there's a guy called Fred, right? And Fred really loves the taste of chocolate. It's his favorite food. He loves it all the time. And so, but one day he gets into a car crash and he damages, and this is all completely fictitious, but the point I think is clear. He gets into a car crash and he damages part of his brain so that he now can no longer taste chocolate. It just tastes like dirt every single time he tries to eat it. And he goes to the doctor and he says, I can't taste chocolate anymore. What do I do? And the doctor says, well, you've damaged this part of your brain, and the only way you can taste chocolate again is if you ingest this substance called Kokomo. The problem is that Kokomo isn't really produced much by the pharmaceutical industry because it's only found in the brains of dead dogs, dead puppies. And so Fred goes, oh, okay. And he goes home and he's a little bit upset. But then he decides to get some stray puppies, breed them, keep them in cages, wandering around in their own feces, barely able to stand some
I'm
of them.
sorry, is this gonna
And then
end in some conclusion that must follow given some true premises, or is there
yeah?
I guess I'm worried that this is just gonna go on, and we're just gonna get some story, and then I'm gonna be asked oh, well, how do I feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like you're way out in the weeds already by saying
that
this person is. Hang on, you're way out in the weeds already because you're describing
you
how
interrupted me.
I'm sorry.
Listen. We want you to be able to get somewhere, but obviously it's not working the way that you're going.
Well,
so,
you're interrupting me.
That's correct. I'm interrupting you because what you're saying isn't making sense for the argument that you were supposed to be presenting. You're telling us a story about some guy named Fred who mistreats animals.
I just finish?
Who specifically mistreats animals, and that's nothing to do with the argument that we're talking about. So can you pull it back?
Look,
start over and give us your argument without including Fred and specifically telling us that a specific person named Fred specifically mistreats animals in a specific way. What's your argument?
Listen, okay. So let me just finish, right? So point is
finish that, because that doesn't make any sense going that far off in the weeds to try and get us to wherever the hell you're trying to get us to. Just give us
Look, I'll wrap
JT
around.
was asking
I'll tell you what it. Look, I'm gonna explain to you the point, and you'll get it. But you just got to let me finish.
He's trying to tell you what is useful to us.
Look, just let me finish. Okay?
Well, you're trying to give us something that's compelling in some way, and what I really want from this is something that we can boil down to where we have to be sure that the thing you say is true at the end. And I just worry that you're kind of going around and around and around here, and I think everyone's worried about the same thing.
Okay, am I allowed to finish now?
Yeah, please do, but
okay, thank you. So
be aware of the concerns.
Okay, yeah, I know. So basically, Fred then keeps them in tiny cages. Some of them break their legs, but have to walk anyway. And then he hangs the puppies up by their hind legs and cuts their throats. Right. But now he can have Kokomo, so now he can taste chocolate again. But then, no, just a sec. And then the neighbors hear the screaming and crying of the puppies, and they call the police. Police come along, they arrest Fred, and in trial, Fred says, look, yeah, I did keep these puppies in cages, I did cut their throats and all that, but I did it for the taste of chocolate. And it's justified because I really like taste of chocolate, and that this was the only way to do it. Right now,
So
of course, you're
is
left with the
is
question:
this
is it
is this
justified to trap and kill animals for merely the taste pleasure? And I think the answer is obviously no. I think Fred did something wrong.
okay?
But
Is
then, of
Fred
this
did
course,
do
real?
something wrong.
is
It
it?
had nothing to do with your argument, though. You understand that,
You
right?
haven't listened to what my argument is. You keep
We're
interrupting.
This
all
chemical you're talking
listening.
about,
We're
is this a
listening to
chemical
nothing
that
else.
exists?
But your argument has nothing to do with Fred being a dick.
Listen. So
Do you
No,
agree
no.
with me?
oh
Your
gosh,
argument has nothing to do with Fred being a dick.
no, I don't agree. But let me just finish. So
Well, then
look,
your argument
the
is
point.
that Fred's a dick, and
Okay,
it's
just
not for what we asked you to present. Right?
Yeah.
so
Correct?
What if you gave us the
basically, right?
argument without any of the other stuff?
Yeah.
I think I can understand
If
that
Fred's actions,
mistreating animals is
if Fred's
bad.
actions are, if
Stop
Fred's
talking about
actions
Fred,
are,
please. You're not doing
you
yourself any
asked for
favors.
the
We're
argument.
trying to help you here. You're
You
setting up a
asked for the
premise
argument.
with yes, we asked for the argument, and you gave
I'm
us
giving the
layers of a
argument.
premise, and
Arguments
you're
don't like end with
inserting that
questions.
premise is the bad thing, and it has nothing to do with the argument.
Okay, fine. I'll simplify it really simply. It's
Please.
immoral to
Please.
kill animals for pleasure. It's immoral to kill animals for pleasure. Oh, sorry. It's immoral to pay for people to kill animals for your pleasure. When you buy meat, you're paying people to kill animals for your pleasure. Conclusion.
No, for
It's
sustenance.
It's not simply for pleasure, but okay, we'll grant you what we
That's valid.
understand what you're
Yeah,
trying to say
that's
by
valid.
using
Okay,
the
thank
word
you. Yeah,
pleasure.
yeah. That it's hold
I
on.
know it's a valid
Let
argument.
me.
It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
modus ponens.
you've been sitting around here, and you've just been telling us stories about Fred, and it's just like let's listen to what the argument is. You know,
I
we
gave
haven't
you
even
the
heard.
argument.
Well, yeah, but we've been sitting around doing this for a half hour until we got the argument.
Look, if you think that it's morally permissible to kill animals for pleasure, I don't really have much to say to you.
Find
Right.
pleasure as you're using it as it relates to this conversation.
Yeah,
Pleasure?
this is.
I find pleasure.
As you are using it in this
Something,
conversation as it relates to this argument.
something that gives you satisfaction. I don't know, like pleasure. That's a hard
And
word to
Well,
when I
define.
eat protein, because I need protein
Yeah, everyone
to
needs
be able
protein.
to function, is that also pleasure?
Yeah, the set of things that are needs and the set of things that give pleasure has like overlap. You understand? So I can like,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course,
okay.
I agree.
It's another definitional argument, the same as the last one you put out
Yeah.
here, right? When you define pleasure as not the common vernacular of pleasure,
What
you're
do you
changing
mean
the
by
argument.
pleasure?
Enjoyment.
Okay, well, I'm happy to use that word. Like, fine.
Yeah, I know you're happy because that's not the word that applies to the argument you gave us.
No, it is because look, the point is that you
No,
don't.
it's not. It's
It is
demonstrably
because
not. And I'm sure that 3
it
people, maybe
demonstrably is
4 in
because
here.
look,
No, it's
look,
not.
Your
wait,
argument
wait.
relies on the
trying
fact
to
that
help
like
you.
pleasures is like excludes things like everything that you could need to do, and it's like purely hedonistic.
Like, yeah,
No,
of
look,
course
listen,
of course we are pleased
listen.
when we're not
Okay,
hungry and that we
pause.
have the
No,
nutrients that we need in our
you're
bodies.
not
That
listening.
pleases us, but you're dismissing the fact that we do still need those things.
I don't even think from like a pragmatic sense you could support the whole of
You're not
humanity's
listening to
hunger
me.
needs on like what we have agriculturally producing today from just plant material.
You're not listening to me. Look,
I
the
don't think
point
you're
is
listening to
that
us.
listen. The
No,
point is
no, we're
that
we're
no,
listening. We
hold on,
don't
listen, just
agree. We are still
just listen
listening
to
to
me.
you.
Just listen to me. So look, the point is that like I agree you need to eat to survive. I agree that a lot of people they eat purely, you know, like let's say a bodybuilder, they're going to eat meals that they don't really need to survive, but they're going to do it anyway because that's the way
Actually,
they
they
build
do
their muscle.
because
Now,
their
hold on,
metabolic
hold on,
rate has
hold on,
changed,
hold on.
and they
Just
need more to
stop.
survive. Actually, that's
Look.
what you
No,
said was
that's not true. But
categorically
look,
false, though.
anyway, no, that's no. What you said is false. But look, it doesn't even matter. It's immaterial, right? The point
Whatever
is
said
that
was
look.
true.
Well, of
but
course it's
not all
immaterial because it
encompassing of-
doesn't agree with what you want to tell us.
No, he's right in the sense
that's
that
not.
that person doesn't need to,
Listen,
to be a bodybuilder to survive, right? That's
Can
I'm sure that's what
Sure.
Philip meant. He doesn't need
hearing
to be
you.
a bodybuilder to survive.
No,
but by
that's
the
not
same
what I
token,
meant. But look,
then
just
you
chill.
don't really have a good argument.
Chill.
Then.
Chill. Look,
I'm trying to help you. You realize
Chill,
that, right?
chill.
you guys aren't listening to me. Look,
We are listening. We're not agreeing.
We've listened.
You guys just
It's not
stop
because
talking
it's not
for a
because of
second.
how you're. It's not because of how you're.
Am I allowed
you're
to?
phrasing
Okay,
the
let me know when
argument.
I'm allowed to speak. Okay.
After other people get their turns too. We're trying to
Let me
tell
ask him a
you.
question and he can speak.
Yeah.
I want to know: do people eat meat for non-pleasurable purposes?
I'm sure some do. Yeah. Okay. So
Right.
now the point I was making, right, is that, of course, people eat sometimes specific foods for the specific nutrients they get. But let's say, for example, you're denying, right, premise two, or I can't remember which premise it was. But you're denying that people buy and eat meat, right now. And I think you seem to agree that killing or paying people to kill animals for your pleasure is immoral. I think you've agreed to that, but you're denying that that's what you're actually doing. Now, let's say you're on a desert island.
I think that's not all. Oh my god. Wow.
But look, let's just say.
I
let me
would
just
say that
finish. Let's say-
statements like that
look,
are always wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you're on a desert island, right? And you
No more
have,
analogies. No more analogies. I don't want to hear another story. Thanks, but
I'm
no.
tired of it. Yeah.
Let's say
I'm
you
with
have,
you on that one.
We just
You
don't
have-
understand. We don't understand,
I'm
and we're
trying to
not
make you
listening to
understand.
him because we don't agree.
Okay, so let's say you're on a desert island, right? And
Oh my
you have a
God.
baby and a water bottle, right? And you need to survive a week. You know that the,
I am
just-
not
just let me
listening
finish
anymore.
this one.
I'm playing my game.
That's fine, but look, and let's say that you're sorry, give me a sec.
Are
So
you
there's this
going to like a Google Doc or something?
Thank you. No, I was walking out of a bookstore and they just wanted to check my bag. So let's say you're on a desert island and you need to drink to survive, right? You need to. And you know that a rescue helicopter is coming in a week. Right? And you have a water bottle and you have a baby, right? And you say, well, I really need to drink something and I really need to survive this week. And so what you decide to do is you decide to cut the baby's throat open and drink its blood, right? Now, and when the rescue people come along and they say, why did you do that? And you said, well, I needed to survive, I needed something to drink. And, well, and the police and the rescue people say, why didn't you just drink the water? There's a water bottle right there. And you go, yeah, I could have done, but I really just like the taste of baby blood. You know, it's just, it tastes really nice, right?
Oh
That's,
my
I think,
fucking God.
kind of analogous to what's happening.
Are
Like,
you
when people say-
literally being serious right now, dude?
This is
Well,
so
when people
bad.
say, for example, like, oh, you know, I really like, I need to eat meat, or I need to eat animal products, protein or something like that. Well, it's true that you need protein, but I'm denying that you need to get it from animal products. Because I mean, the empirics are on my
Yeah,
side.
because drinking a baby's blood is the same thing as eating a hamburger. Just
No, you're missing my
right,
point. You're missing
exactly
my
the.
point.
Oh,
You're missing my point.
baby Iris. Shoot,
You're
sorry.
missing my point. The point is, did the person on the island need to drink the baby's blood to survive?
Can I ask you?
No, you're not going to ask me anything. You're going to answer that question. Did the person on the island need to drink the baby's blood in order to survive?
You can
Okay.
ask for clarification.
Are you making an argument about morality?
So
I'm not answering any questions until you answer mine.
cool. So I was about to say I'm a stage moderator, and I was about to
I'm
say
not really
that I
interested.
give you.
I'm not really
I wanted to
interested
give you
until
60
someone
seconds.
answers my question.
I want to give you 60 seconds to just make like whatever this point is that you're trying to make without these weird off the wall examples and comparisons to baby's blood and torturing animals and vivid descriptions of torturing animals. It's not. I kind of want to pull a pin on this, to be perfectly honest, and I'm gonna ask other people. I'm willing to just give them like 60 seconds to make a real point, and then I kind of just want to move you back to the audience, dude.
Dude, I just think you're confronted with this like impossible situation from going like even if you can say whether someone did or did not need to do something to survive, you're like in this you're still in this impossible situation with regard to trying to say anything about the morality of veganism. I don't know how you're going to bridge this gap. What does this have to do with anything?
60 seconds, dude. Can you answer that? What does this have to do with anything?
Why was I muted? Listen, no one answered my question. Was the person on the island, did they need to drink the baby's blood in order to survive? That was the question. Okay.
What
No
does
one
this
answered.
have to do with anything? 60
Are
seconds.
you going to answer the question? I've answered many of your questions, and you've answered
We can answer.
none of mine. None of mine.
We can ask. All right. Sorry, I'm gonna mute you when you keep talking over us. But we're asking for clarification on why this question is analogous to your argument. Now I'm unmuting you.
Yeah, okay. It's analog. Well, first of all, I really shouldn't answer this because I did say that you need to answer my question. But given that I'm nice, I'm in a good mood, I would, okay? It's analogous, right? Because you're denying your paying for animals to be tortured and killed for your pleasure, right? You're denying that. Now, I'm saying that, well, if it's the case that you can survive on a vegan diet, you can be vegan and not pay for animals to be holocausted, right? So the point is that, and the analogy that I gave you was a simplified version of that, right? If you have two options, you have a baby and a drink of water, and you can easily drink the water, you don't need to kill the baby to drink the blood. And that's sort of a stripped down version of what's happening here, right? I'm not saying that killing a baby and drinking his blood is the same thing as killing a cow and eating the flesh. I'm not saying that's the same thing. But what I am saying, right, is that if it's the case that you can be vegan without buying animal products, then you deciding to be vegan and to buy animal products just because, I don't really like the taste of them, right? Well, then it seems to be for pleasure. Right? Now, I'm not, like, if it's genuinely true and your doctors have said you need this certain animal product for this reason, I think that's bullshit, but whatever. I'll grant you that this isn't an argument for you. But given that the American Dietetics Association has said that the vegan and vegetarian diet is healthful and adequate for all stages of life, including pregnancy and infancy, I think the empirics are on my side. I'm done.
Cool. I want to say, just because this needs to be said out loud after you said, whatever a doctor tells a patient, you think that's bullshit. Well, that's bullshit that you think that's bullshit, because you have no business telling anybody the business between a doctor and a patient, period. That's just no.
Okay, fine, whatever.
I just heard you should feel the same way as me, because here's a thing that I thought about.
You didn't make any points. You didn't clarify anything. You didn't give me any reason to care about what you say.
I can't make people care about animals. Like, I've spoken to people and they've said, like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about torturing cats. Like,
No, I care about animals. I don't care about
You
what
give a
you're
shit about
saying.
torturing cats? Get this guy out of here. What the fuck?
No,
It's just
no, I
animal
didn't say
torture
that.
shit. Like, seriously, like, what the fuck? Somebody mod this.
I didn't
Yeah.
say that. I didn't.
No, I don't think that's what they meant.
Anyway, I actually do have to go. I'm going to a vegan thing. Anyway, I'll catch you.
That is for the best.
I love how he accused me of poisoning the well. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, well, please, anybody who overheard whatever he said about not listening to your doctors, do not listen to somebody telling you not to listen to your doctor.
That is actually, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, everyone has their own personal health issues and health history. Only their personal doctor. Hell, even someone else who is a different doctor, if they don't know your health history, then they cannot comment on what your health needs are.
Oh,
You
Dr.
need to
Ben
work
all
with
the
a
time.
personal doctor and dietitian.
Like Dr. Ben all the time on I was gonna say Dr. Ben all the time on the shows. Even though he's a doctor, he never says this is advice. He very always obviates that, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So
That was fun.
I agree. Well, here's something that people might be interested in, something that I've been talking with a couple of members, including Chris and Scotty, about trying to get a channel, a damn Discord gaming group together. So if there are people who are interested in participating in some gaming stuff, let me know, or let somebody know to add you to the proper channels. So that's one thing that we can talk about.
I love me some tabletop.
Yeah, I'm happy to help out.
I love tabletop, but I feel like I would have a bad schedule for it.
Yeah, no, it is difficult to schedule some things sometimes, and this is coming from a professional. I literally run D&D games for a living, and scheduling is, I want to say it's a little bit easier. You know, people cancel on you less when they're paying you. But
I hate being that guy that's like usually the one that everyone's like, you know, like that schedule's always fucked up. And I already turned down a fucking D&D group this past December over the same thing.
Is there any possible way to make it turn by turn, where we don't necessarily have to be there all the time?
Oh yeah, so there's the what do they call it? The West March style, where you do it all in text, right? And can have
You post like a forum where you have rounds. Like instead of just having rounds during combat, everything is around where the DM has their main post, and then everyone has their turn to have at least one response post to that DM, and then it cycles again in that order.
Yeah, I've seen systems like that, and I have run text-based RPG tabletop stuff before as well. I have a couple of bots that I that I use in my own server that allow you to connect your character sheet and your token and all that stuff to stuff, so like it makes it look like your character is talking versus when you're talking and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of cool shit that you can do just with the Discord tools. Yeah. And if these are things that you're interested in, then by all means join the chat, and I'll see what I'm able to make happen within my own schedules and availability. And it's not just limited to D&D. I also huge fan and run Cyberpunk and a couple of other lesser known tabletop systems that can be pretty fun to explore. Kobolds Ate My Baby is one I love a lot, just because of the name, but also All Hail King Torg.
Probably doesn't need to be stated, but since you'd be working on writing personally with Sapper, you gotta have a good relationship with Sapper, since he's gonna be the DM, or probably not going to be able to write well together, I have a feeling. And if there are some people who maybe want a different game, and if things are too busy, so I think you had I'm so sorry. I think you had decided that you wanted to go with Star Trek game.
Well, I hadn't decided on anything. Star Trek was Chris's idea. He's like, well, if I'm going to be involved, I kind of want it to be Star Trek themed. And I just said I could probably make that happen, but I'm not not a goddamn thing is set in stone right now. So
yeah,
that's my answer to that.
I'd probably be the one that would sit out on actual participation and just help, in general with the sidelines, or if anybody needs it. If the game were to be more medieval focused,
traditional,
then I would be more willing to participate. That's just a personal preference of mine. I have no problem with sci-fi games. Just for tabletop, I tend not to enjoy sci-fi as much for some reason. I've played sci-fi video games, but for some reason, just with tabletop, it's not as interesting. So, if there are people who, maybe let's say we go with the Star Trek for this game, we could schedule in the future a particular game.
And what I'll probably be doing is what makes the most sense to me, rather than doing an ongoing campaign, maybe do a series of one-shots and or short campaigns that last 3 or 4 sessions. I think that would be the easiest way to make it inclusive for as many people as possible, right? So, hey, we're gonna do especially I like to do holiday one shots. I've got a really cool Santa murder mystery kind of adventure that I wrote. I also have a Halloween Frankenstein kind of thing. So those are fun to just do. Hey, a weekend that's close to the holiday is going to be the holiday special one shot, and then between that might run a couple of regular just short campaigns that are 3 or 4 sessions. Sorry, I was trying to talk through hiccups. But I definitely don't think it would be a good idea in this server. At least the just the nature of the server and how we're trying to grow and bring more people to it. Like just starting like a long-term campaign with a set group of people would absolutely be excluding lots of people in the future. So I feel like it's better if I'm just kind of doing a few things here and there. Especially because, I'm planning on offering this for free and not charging people for it. This would be an absolutely, pro bono or al gratis or some kind of Latin word that I don't know for not asking you guys for money.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm already too broke.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to use this server to recruit for my business. At best, I'd be using it to recruit for my YouTube shows. Right?
There you go.
So, yeah, it's a loose plan, but if I've got people interested and can squish them together at the same time on a mildly regular basis, we can make something happen.
Yeah, I definitely have enjoyed one-shots. So, if you end up doing any one-shots, give a heads up. And,
I think one-shots will be probably the majority of them, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I'm just thinking like because I want to be able to include as many future people as possible. I want to give them the opportunity, and if it's not like a set group every week, then that gives more people the opportunity to jump in.
Yeah, that is a good point. It does make it a lot easier to rotate. So there's not a really long wait for people who want different topics.
Right. I can just throw up. I can be like, "Hey, here's the next one shot. Here's a sign-up sheet. Once the table is full, once I got my table cap, which normally speaking, I don't go over 6. Depending on the circumstances, I could probably squeeze another 1 or 2. Going up to 8 sounds scary as shit, but
yeah, that's kind of busy.
Depending on circumstances, yeah, because especially in a one shot, you got too many people there, then you don't get enough time for everybody to have their turns.
Yep.
And enjoy being there.
Yeah, especially since it's just a one shot. I mean, you could always get another opportunity. So I think 6 is a good cap. I honestly, how we are now, 6 seems more than enough. Maybe at some point we have more people, but right now I don't think there's gonna be too many wanting to go for one game.
Are you guys familiar with Aldrin on Twitch? She's from the island, not too far from me out here, but she's in the community, and I think she's actually done Neil's show. It's VALDRIANTH. Does a regular Twitch stream doing D&D gaming. If you guys are interested in hooking up with some people that are into that.
That particular content creator is not on my radar, but thank you. Or was not on my radar.
Well, I kind of, when I got into the community out here, I was looking for people who were out in my area. I ran into Neil first, and I was like, holy crap, this guy's like 10 minutes away. And
nice.
Through him, I got introduced to a bunch of people up in the interior, a few people on the island. That was one of them. And so, of course, when they're streaming, I watch, but I don't do turn-based games like that. It's not my thing.
Yeah. I will say Cyberpunk when I started playing and running cyberpunk games and really getting into the lore and backstory of, you know, what created this dystopia, and I'm just like, it's just becoming too fucking real now. Like, we are literally like checking the boxes of exactly what the creator wrote down a while ago. And in the 80s, it's the same. We're watching it play out.
Yeah, if you look at the early steps, you know, our feet are moving in that direction right now.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a quick question for everybody, just to keep the energy going.
Mm-hmm.
I see that Sapphic Hazard would like to bring up a topic about their profession in engineering and how the Salem hypothesis has been giving their profession a bad name lately. I'm not sure if people have heard of the Salem hypothesis before.
No.
Really briefly, I can't remember. Somebody was talking about it the other day, and I heard something about it, but I would appreciate a refresher, as it were.
The Salem hypothesis.
Yeah,
This is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it just means that usually if someone has a PhD in a younger creationist institute or something, that PhD is in engineering.
Yep.
Hey, my internet is being really uncomfortable and pooping out all the time, and I'm exhausted. So I just wanted to say bye, and I will see everybody later.
Good night.
We are.
Sure. Have a good night.
We did just cross the 3-hour mark. It is about that time.
I'm exhausted. So
I
I'm gonna
also
say good night
go
for
too.
now. Love you all.
Good night.
Have a great night.
Thanks for coming in.
Have a good night.
Bye.
So, goodbye. I just wanted to give Sapphic the chance to, you know, talk about their topic. And then I'm probably gonna head out soon as well.
Yeah, I think this might be the end cap of our evening, but glad to hear what Sapphic has to say. It'd be hopefully a much nicer conversation than the ones we've had so far.
Preaching to the choir. This is very off the cuff. Just a repeat theme I've been noticing lately. A lot, you know, I listen to the line a lot, so just that it's very common that we'll hear people come in and invoke engineering in a topical sense, and then just totally misappropriate it in every way they can, like saying things like that complexity is a hallmark of design. It's not a hallmark of design. Purpose is a hallmark of design. And complexity is a hallmark.
You're breaking up roboting hard.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, is it just
I
me?
can't hear you.
Sorry?
Yeah, I'm starting to lose Sapphic. It's starting to break up.
We've been having some connectivity issues here today. It's probably best that I hold off on speaking otherwise. But it's just it's a repeat topic lately. If you're able to hear me.
You're very clear
We
right
went
now.
that time, yeah.
Yeah, right now it's good.
Of course it is. Freedom forever.
But yeah, no, I've often heard people who know engineering way better than I do say that simplicity is more of a hallmark of design than complexity, because the more, you know, like, especially when we look at like the human body, or not even just the human body, any species really, there's all kinds of vestigial limbs, organs, or other structures that just have zero purpose but haven't been completely developed or completely absorbed. And then also even at the genetic level, you have genes that are just turned off, right? Like, why are they there? Why would you just have genes in there that are just turned off? Who would design that?
I knew I would be, we've shared similar thoughts in the chats as those have gone on, and it's always a crack up, because, it's my everyday is making sure that our system doesn't get too complex, because when it does, shit starts getting weird.
So you start adding in extra unnecessary code because they love to like compare it to the computer program, right? The DNA to computer program, which it's not. But like if we follow that metaphor through, right? Our code has a bunch of extra lines.
Just the worst design, the worst.
Yeah, I would like to clarify. Just a general biology note. Vestigial in biology means something that no longer is being used for its original purpose. So that could be that it no longer functions, or it could be that it now functions
Serves
in
a
a
function.
different way.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that is a huge misconception that a lot of creationists have, where they're like, oh, well, people thought that the appendix was vestigial, but it's not really vestigial. It's still a vestigial organ. It's no longer being used for the original purpose that it was used in our from what we can tell from our ancestral origins. It's now being used instead of helping with the digestion of fibrous material as more of a backup for your gut biota.
Yeah. I also love to point out, pythons have vestigial legs that they now use for mating. Yeah, those little spurs, those little kind of, they kind of look like little fangs that come out of their butthole, and they use them for mating. They use them to just kind of latch on to each other to kind of create their mating lock. So they don't use them as legs anymore. They're not walking around on any, but they lost enough of them, and then just kind of over time found a new use for them to just hook in.
And for those who say that it's by design, we know that snakes can still mate without those claspers. So
yes,
it aids in reproduction. That's probably why it hasn't completely gone away, because there's still some function. But even if it did go away, it's that reproduction would still be able to function just fine. They might just have to do it a little bit.
Yeah, there's plenty of species of snakes that don't have them. This one just didn't lose them completely.
Yep.
So is that just like vestigial means that it's changed in the functional sense, but it is not gone?
No. It's vestigial is a leftover. It's something that is no longer serving its primary purpose.
Yeah.
Sometimes those things that are vestigial that no longer serve their primary purpose find new purposes.
But fins on a whale are vestigial in the sense that they were like once legs.
No. The on a whale they do have some whales cetacean species do have like little vestigial legs that are kind of just popping off of their hip bones and not doing a damn thing.
Inside their body, and they still exist. They're not doing anything. They also have independent finger bones in their flippers, fins, whatever you want to call them. Fins are more of a vertical thing. But yeah, they have finger bones that are completely unnecessary and not used for any purpose, that are leftovers from their mammalian existence on land, right? So
yeah. I guess I'm just trying to.
So
I'm not trying to be
whales are-
argumentative. I'm just trying to like understand how people use.
No, it was a
No,
good question.
yeah, it was.
I'll try and help create 2 examples that can give you a good idea of the definition. So a whale is a great example because it has both types of vestigial body parts. So as Dave mentioned, the flipper still has the independent finger bones inside, like covered like a glove in their flipper. They don't need articulating finger bones anymore. Those would be vestigial.
Independently articulating.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And so, but even though that no longer serves a function, and it still does not have a current function, that would be a form of vestigial definition. Another example of a vestigial body part is their pelvis. Their pelvis used to help support them as they would walk on land. They still have that pelvis. It is severely reduced. It no longer touches the spine anymore. But it still helps anchor the muscles for their reproductive system. So it is vestigial in the sense that it lost the function to support their legs as they would walk on land.
No longer functions in its original purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't lose
Yes,
it.
now
No
it's
longer
new
functions. Yeah.
So the main point that requires it to be vestigial is that it no longer serves the same function that it originally had.
So as fans, you would say like, it's not that they're walking as the same function, but it does serve the same function in the sense of motility. But like at a more granular scale, when you look at the like phalanges inside of the fins, now you're looking at something that's like really not serving any kind of functional purpose.
Well, it could literally be better, right? It's not the ideal for the purpose it's being used for. It's a leftover from what existed before that.
Okay.
In that particular case.
Okay.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's still providing structure to the. You said it was fins on top, so flippers.
Yeah,
So it's still providing the finger bones. They're still providing structure to the flippers, but they don't need to be independently articulating because the flipper is one big long
like a paddle.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And if it were a bladed bone instead of independent fingers, it would be stronger. It would work better. It would hit the body better. Like
It would serve like the same function, but even to a better extent. Sure.
Right.
All right.
It takes a lot of little changes over time, so it would, at this point, it would be more energetically taxing to get all those genetic mutations than to immediately work on it when it already serves to function enough that they can reproduce and carry on.
And the environment has a big
thought you got like a
effect on this,
framework.
because if the being, the entity, the species, whatever you want to call it, if it lives in an area where energy is abundant, then the changes, the genetic changes that would happen, the changes in alleles over time, wouldn't necessarily put the type of pressure on that species to make those changes occur. If they have enough energy, enough food, enough mobility, that it's not hindering their existence in any measurable way in their environment, then natural selection is less likely to eliminate the old and replace it with the new. It will just continue to prosper, right? the idea that engineers are out there talking about stuff that is in this scientifically biological realm, and in the, you know, it's so specialized to the, like, you look at how specialized Erica is. She's like down to one great ape in her studies,
Right.
you know, or one line of great apes, I should say. Yeah, and these people come out and they're arguing with her about her, like, her life's work. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
No, like, you're a dentist. Cut it out.
Well, it's been awesome chatting with you guys. I don't know if you guys want to keep continuing from this point, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. It's been lovely.
I know
chatting
I
with
was
you.
kind of waiting myself, so.
Yeah, my alarm's set for 5:23 a.m., so this is the end for me.
Yeah, I think I'm calling it a night, folks.
I'm good with being through.
And Satan's doorbell came up just in time for us all to leave.
I'm sorry, Satan's doorbell.
Well,
Next week on the stream.
I was actually surprised to see people in here so late. This is, I get to work about this time. That's why I can never join in on Fridays, because I'm at home sleeping, getting ready to come to work. And I saw people in this, so I thought I'd hop in and say hi. So.
Hey.
Hi.
Yeah,
I realize nobody knows who I am. I'm Sean Alexander on the side chat.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's me.
I've known you in
Yeah,
chat for
I
like 7 years.
Yeah, that's me.
Cool.
Well, thank you for jumping in.
All right, no problem. Yeah, it was good to at least say hi in person for a moment. So.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, thanks for hopping in, and I'll probably see. I don't know if you'll be there on Saturday, but I'll be there in the latter hour, probably.
Okay, yeah, I'll be in.
Tomorrow's Sci-Fi Saturday.
Yeah, I get home just in time to hop in. I'm usually like a few minutes late, but I usually get just in time to hop into the morning shows.
Sorry, I'm about to become contagious.
we had a real moron show up, and I just decided to go gaming instead of listen to him anymore.
Oh man, I love morons. They're so entertaining.
Yeah.
Oh well, go back and listen to the chat. You'll catch all you need.
Who was it?
Or go back and listen to the
Do you know?
stream.
Do you know LOLs? LOL ZZZ.
No.
He's big over on. Oh, he's not big. He's just a usual asshole over at Politics Discord.
Oh, okay. I've never encountered him, but I've seen his name in there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just. I've dealt with him before. He's a pedantic asshole. I have such a low tolerance for him. But I let them all enjoy him.
You're like 20 minutes too long.
As was only fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably too much.
In my opinion. In my opinion.
I'm easy to get roped in.
It's fine. It's fine. There's no harm in making the best of the situation.
I kind of lost my patience when he was like, "No, you need to answer my question before I'm going to answer anything." I was like, "Okay,
Bye.
listen here, motherfucker." That was where I was like, you know what? No, okay, make a real point in 60 seconds or be gone. Like that was. I know Scotty had checked out and let us have our fun with them, and I was like, wait a minute, I actually have the power to remove him if I want.
Yeah, there's guys that are on the ACA shows and Align shows and on other they get on the Bin Network and other things, and I'm pretty sure they're streaming like to Twitch or something else, and other people are like giving them bonuses to use keywords, or they're either getting paid by the minute or paid by the sentence or something like that, where their stream is promoting them, and people are, they're in an echo chamber of their own hoodlums,
making
They're all
fun
like,
of
oh
our
yeah,
responses.
let's go screw around and we'll make like the worst argument possible and tell as many as analogies and stories and sidelines and around the like they're just wasting time. And I call them time vampires. And I think some of them actually get paid for it.
Yeah.
And it might be
Time vampire. That's what I call my job.
He's not. He's not that good.
I thought that's what I call my ex-wife.
Anyway, I do have to go. I got to get up early. It's
Yeah.
been a blast and a half. Thanks for jumping in at the end, and hopefully you come back next Friday and hang out with us.
Yeah,
You miss.
how late you stay. Excuse me, this is
You
about,
missed me getting peed on.
Huh?
You missed me getting peed on.
Peed on.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You have to figure out by whom.
Not usually my case, but hey, I'm open to it.
Satan's urinal.
Oh, there it is. All right, folks. It's been real. It's been
Have a lovely
fun.
night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
All right, have a fun one.
There you
Good
go.
talk with you all.